time for Brewers baseball on WMLW. Tonight, the Houston Astros and the Milwaukee Brewers. A good crowd filing in. Those sizable concourses. They show up big tonight after a week at Wrigley Field. And all smiles for the Brew Crew today. They're ready to get after it on a Retro Friday as they welcome in one of the hottest teams in all of the National League, the Houston Astros. The Brewers try to get something going here. And hi, everybody. Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us. We'll hear from Bill Schroeder in just a moment. Looking forward to this matchup this weekend with the Brewers and the Astros. And the Astros are red hot. This ball club is on fire right now. They've won 8 of their last 11. Of course, they swept the Brewers last time in Houston last weekend. Wandy Rodriguez pitches tonight for Houston. 15 scoreless innings. That covers the Cardinals and the Brewers his last time out. Wandy Rodriguez in his last 7, a 6-1 record. Meanwhile, the Brewers are ready to get started on a nice stretch of games here at home. 16 of the next 21 will be here at Miller Park. Corey Hart, he's 4th in the National League in RBIs with 75. Ryan Howard leads the league with 81, but he's injured. Albert Pujols, then David Wright, and then Corey Hart. He's also in the top 5 in slugging percentage and extra base hits. And, of course, he is in the lineup once again tonight. The red-hot Astros since the All-Star break. Been one of the best teams. They've averaged almost 6 runs per game. We'll get into Dave Bush, tonight's starter, and the Houston Astros with Bill Schroeder when we continue on WMLW. On all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Toyota and your Metro Milwaukee Toyota dealers. By Oneida Casino. Get yourself in the game. Play slots, table games, and bingo at Oneida Casino. Fun is our game. And by the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. Roof is open. Turned out to be a beautiful night here in Milwaukee. We actually had a rain shower come through right before batting practice, but we are high and dry tonight and looking forward to this matchup between the Brewers and the Astros. And Bill Schroeder, Dave Bush is on the mound tonight. His last time out against Houston, he gave up 6 runs in 5 innings, and now Dave Bush will match up once again with Wandy Rodriguez, and he's had to sit on that start now for the last 5 days, and he'll get the chance at a little redemption today.
Yeah, 3rd time that these two guys have faced each other this year. Dave Bush, when he has troubles, it's usually early in the ball game. And in Houston, he gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings. And, you know, Bushy is 2 of his last 3 starts have been a little bit shaky after you remember that stretch he had 6 consecutive quality starts. So it's always important for Dave Bush, particularly with an offense like the Houston Astros. These guys swinging the bats pretty well.
Right.
Keep the ball down, get it going early.
What do you do when you want to get on a hot streak? You trade away the faces of your franchise, Roy Oswalt and Lance Berkman. What has gotten into the Astros?
I don't know. A bunch of young guys just trying to make a mark and show the organization that they're, get the ability to play for next year. I mean, 2 guys in the corner, Johnson and you got Wallace, 2 young kids at third and first swinging the bats well. Look at the runs that they've been able to score in the beginning of the year. They only averaging about 3.5 runs a game.
Jeff Bagwell took over as hitting coach. This club is hitting again. Lorenzo Cain is here. Carlos Gomez placed on the disabled list. Lorenzo Cain in the starting lineup. He'll play center field and bat 6th. We've got those lineups and the first pitch coming up next. A sweep at the hands of the Astros their last time out. Wandy Rodriguez had another great day on the mound for Houston. And in 3 games, the Houston Astros put a whooping on Milwaukee in the Lone Star State. Brewers really had no chance against Rodriguez last Saturday. A 6-0 final score. Wandy Rodriguez beat Dave Bush, and they never let him up for air. They scored early and often, and now Dave Bush in his retro Friday uniform leads the Brewers out onto the field here at Miller Park. The Astros swept the Brewers, then went to St. Louis and won 2 out of 3. They did lose Wednesday, snapping a 7-game losing streak. But a ball club that has found its stride under Brad Mills finally. Remember, they started the season 0-8. They're actually 4th in the National League Central right now. They've leapfrogged the Chicago Cubs. A 47-60 record for the Houston Astros, but without their 2 big faces of the franchise in Roy Oswalt and Lance Berkman. And here is the lineup for Brad Mills. It's brought to you by Toyota. Michael Bourne leads off, Jeff Keppinger, then Hunter Pence. Middle of the order is Carlos Lee, the former Brewer. Jeff Blum just back from injury with Brett Wallace hitting 6th. Chris Johnson, red hot since the All-Star break. He's followed by Jason Castro and then Wandy Rodriguez. And that's the lineup that will face Dave Bush, Rock.
Well, let's check out the Lexus scouting reports on Dave Bush. Three's a charm is the third time that Dave Bush has faced Wandy Rodriguez. He's 0-1 so far this year. First inning, Dave's got to keep everybody off the board. Gave up 2 runs in the first inning in Houston, and Jeff Blum has always been very tough against Bush. For his career against Dave Bush, 8 for 19. He was on the disabled list the last time the Brewers hooked up with the Astros.
Michael Bourne, he's the guy you want to keep off the bases, the league leader in steals this year. George Kataris catching Dave Bush here tonight. Jonathan Lucroy is in the ballpark. He's in uniform and available, but his wife just delivering their first child yesterday. So Lucroy is here as the emergency catcher tonight. Did not participate in batting practice, but is here and ready to go just in case. And we send our best to the Lucroys.
Kind of an old school kind of guy, right? I mean, his wife gives birth and he shows up at the ballpark. A lot of guys get a couple of days off, but not Jonathan. He realizes that if something happens to Kataris, the Brewers are kind of in a bad spot.
He said, honey, I'll see you in a few hours.
Yeah, just stay right there. Don't move. I'll be back.
Bourne comes in batting .249. A home run, 25 RBIs, and that is exactly what you don't want to do with Michael Bourne, a base stealer. Here's how the Brewers line up defensively. Braun, Kane, and Hart. Welcome Lorenzo Cain back to the big leagues. Then it's Casey McGee, Alcides Escobar, Ricky Weeks, and Prince Fielder. And Qatar is catching Bush. Defense brought to you by Menards. And Lorenzo Cain is back. He had a brief run with Milwaukee earlier this year, and he swung the bat well through Atlanta.
Yep.
And he is back in the big leagues after a very successful run, not just in AA but AAA as well. So he's put up the numbers to earn his spot back, and now the Brewers are kind of waiting on Carlos Gomez, who's going to be on the disabled list. So he'll be down at least 2 weeks with a concussion.
Yeah, well, they have a series of tests that they perform on guys that get hit in the head or they feel as though have concussion-like symptoms, and he did not pass. So put him on a disabled list for a couple of weeks, and that gives Lorenzo Cain an opportunity.
Jeff Keppinger, he's been one of their most consistent hitters this year in Houston. .290 batting average, has 5 homers, 40 RBIs. Keppinger hitting the 3-hole a couple of times in Houston in that last series.
Keppinger, a good contact hitter, a good on-base percentage type guy, doesn't strike out much, and is very good at hitting with 2 strikes. That's why he's good behind Michael Bourne in that lineup. Gives him a chance to steal.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy is the better throwing catcher of the two. So it'll be imperative tonight that if Bourne reaches, that Dave Bush gives Kataris a chance to throw him out. Bourne has 33 steals this year. Leads the National League by 4 over Niger Morgan of the Washington Nationals. In the left, Braun coming in. He's got it for the out. And 1 gone. Well, the roster moved today, and this is why. Back on Monday against the Chicago Cubs, Carlos Gomez hit in the head. Brian Schlitter drilled him in the head. Thank goodness for the helmet.
Yeah.
It was the second time that Gomez was hit in that game.
Yeah, right above the ear that time, and he went down, would have to leave the ball game. And because of the problems that he continues to experience, although he did do some baseball activities today, the Brewers feel as though he's not ready to participate in games. Got to be careful with that stuff. That stuff will seemingly go away, then rear its ugly head once again. You got to be very careful. A lot of guys have missed some time because of that.
Well, Jason Bay in New York is the prime example right now. A guy who's struggling with concussion-like syndrome and is having a lot of problems post-concussion. And, of course, this current staff, the athletic trainers and Gord Ash, who runs the medical side of things for the Brewers, they went through the Corey Koski ordeal, so they're taking no chances with Gomez. Hunter Pence takes a strike. 1-1 to count to Pence, who now elevates himself as one of the premier bats in this Astros lineup without Berkman. Batting in the 3-hole tonight, hitting .276, 15 home runs this year, 55 driven in.
And Pence, one of those guys, it's awfully difficult to walk. I mean, he's got a .276 batting average and only a .319 on base percentage. He already has 399 at bats. He's a tough guy to walk. He swings at everything.
Pence leads this Astros ball club in home runs and RBIs. Count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Interesting, Rock, that Michael Bourne has started and stopped twice now during this sequence with Dave Bush.
Man, just can't get a jump, but you figure that the Astros are pretty used to Dave Bush out there in the mound. This is the 3rd time that he's faced Houston so far this year.
Yeah, they just saw on Saturday night at Minute Maid Park. And in that game, Michael Bourne had a hit, a steal. He scored a couple of runs as well. Ooh, that one just missed. 2-2 the count.
Important pitch for Dave Bush. When he goes well, this pitch right here is always down and on the corners and just missing the outside corner.
The gravity ball, the slower than slow curveball from Bush. Houston had the day off here at Milwaukee yesterday. They lost in St. Louis Wednesday. The Brewers lost in Chicago Wednesday after winning the first 2 games in that Cup Series. So a 2-4 road trip for Milwaukee. There goes Bourne in the air to right. Bourne doesn't see it right away and is hustling back. His Hart makes a catch. No throw. Second out of the inning.
Yeah, good job by Ricky Weeks deking Michael Bourne, who didn't look in. He took off, did not know where the ball was. Ricky Weeks acted as though the ball was coming from third base. Unfortunately for the Brewers, the ball was just hit too high for Corey Hart to be able to double them all. Watch Ricky kind of acting as though that ball is going to be coming from third, and Bourne finally realizes where it is.
Two outs, Bourne still at first base, and here's Carlos Lee. Now you wonder if the game plan changes a little bit for Bourne with Lee at the plate. Instant offense.
Game plan never changes for Michael Bourne. He's going to run because he very rarely gets thrown out.
I'm surprised he's still at first.
That's his game.
There he goes, and the pitch is a strike. The throw is high, and a steal for Michael Bourne. So the 34th stolen base for Michael Bourne.
Not a very big lead, but a good jump, and he just outruns the baseball. Quick release from Kataris, but not much on it, and off the mark a bit.
Now the Astros with a runner in scoring position now. With a guy who has always been known as an RBI machine in his career, Carlos Lee, but even though he's driven in 53, he's not up to the normal Carlos Lee standards this year.
That's kind of surprising given the ballpark that he plays in. That Minute Maid Park, short porch and left. 15 home runs. You can see he's done a pretty good job, exactly what you're talking about, a 300 average with runners in scoring position for his career.
Now Carlos Lee in the middle of a long-term deal with Houston. It was a 6-year agreement in all that began prior to the 07 season. Lee now in his 4th year as an Astro with 2 years remaining. And as an Astro, he's driven in over 100 runs every season he's been in Houston. At 119 in his first year back in 2007. Little lazy fly ball. Hart coming in. Got a long way to go, but he runs it down. So the Astros get a leadoff walk, but a scoreless inning for Bush. Top, Ken Maka has Ryan Braun, Casey McGee, and Lorenzo Cain in the middle. Check out Braun's numbers against Wandy Rodriguez. And then the bottom three, it's Alcides Escobar, George Gutaris, and Dave Bush.
And the Lexus scouting report on Wandy Rodriguez. He's 2-0 against the Brewers, giving up 1 run in 15 innings of work. That's this year. Big July, a 4-1 record, a 2.38 ERA. And Ryan Braun, Corey Hart combined 22 for 57. You saw Bronny's numbers very good, but the two of them combined a 385 batting average.
Well, Rodriguez, it's been a tale of 2 seasons for him. He's been much better at home than on the road this year. His road numbers are much worse than his starts at Minute Maid Park, but I think a lot of that has to do with how he was pitching earlier in the year, because Rodriguez in his last 7 starts is 6-1 with a 1.97 ERA.
Yeah, he started the season 3-10. And has been much better as of late. He's won 6 of his last 7 starts. Well, his road record that you were talking about, 3-6 this year with a 5.97 ERA, almost 6.
And you see what he's done. These are the numbers over his last 7. The opponent's batting average tells a big story as well. It's under 200 at this point. Wandy Rodriguez is not a guy who overpowers you with a fastball. He's a command pitcher. He's a lot like Randy Wolf, as a matter of fact. But Rodriguez has been able to put something together here lately, and he's kind of coincided with this Astros turnaround.
Gets a lot of mileage out of the high fastball. You see the splits that we were talking about. Pitches much better in Houston. About 3.5 earned run average.
The 2-2 to Weeks. Got a good cut, fouls it back. Now Ricky comes in with 70 runs batted in. A 271 batting average. He's hit 22 home runs. And his on-base percentage to start the day is .369. Bouncing ball, and it's off the glove of Johnson. That'll be a base hit, and Weeks on his way to second. Here comes the throw. It's late. Ricky Weeks with a hustle double.
Hey, you don't see many infield doubles, do you? They're barely able to trickle into the outfield. Jeff Blum, I should say Johnson, went for it, knocked it out of the way of Jeff Blum, who's playing short. If Johnson doesn't get that baseball, Blum's going to hold Ricky to a single, but good hustle by Ricky Weeks. Able to get into second base. Realized nobody was getting there in time, and good start for Milwaukee.
Well, Ricky Weeks, explosive speed and thinking about an extra base hit right out of the box. Double number 21 of the year for Weeks. Immediately in scoring position for Corey Hart. a strike to Hart. Well, Ed Cedar in the first base coaching box. Always instructing over there. See, he can't run through the bag because Ed's in his way.
That's good base coaching right there. Always on your toes. And, you know, Ricky really initially thought he was going to have to beat that out as an infield hit. Ricky's so athletic, he's able to cut that bag like that. Not many guys can do that going straight down the line, but able to cut the bag and get into second base easily.
Well, the numbers bode well for Corey Hart tonight. Not only has he hit lefties well this year, but he's hit Wandy Rodriguez well throughout his career. Corey Hart against this left-hander batting .400 in his career. 14 for 35.
There's that high fastball that we're talking about. That pitch in Houston against the Brewers was a big strikeout pitch for him. Doesn't throw hard, about 91, tops out 92 maybe. But big curveball, some change-ups, and you can see he throws that fastball right by the Brewer hitter, as if they don't really see it all that well.
That was the theme in the last series with the Astros. Not just Rodriguez, but all three of their starters going with a high fastball. Hart tomahawks one to short, and that's the first out. Ricky Weeks has to stay put at second base. Let's check the Astros defensively. Carlos Lee in left, Michael Bourne in center with Hunter Pence in right. Got a couple of rookies on the corners in Chris Johnson and Brett Wallace. Jeff Blum is back from an elbow injury. Jeff Keppinger at second, and rookie catcher Jason Castro behind the plate for Wandy Rodriguez. Menard's Astros defense. Here's the big man, Prince Fielder, with a runner at second and one out. Fielder did have a single against Rodriguez last Saturday. It was part of a 6-hit shutout combined. Rodriguez went 8 innings, gave up just 5 hits. Fielder had one of those hits. And a 1-for-3 run against Wandy Rodriguez.
And a little more room up the middle for Prince Fielder, because you have Ricky Weeks at second base. Chris Johnson has to stay home, or Ricky Weeks just steal third. You got Blum a little bit on the shortstop side of the bag.
Ricky with a leadoff double. He's at second for Fielder. Brewers trying to strike first here tonight against Rodriguez and snap his long consecutive scoreless inning streak, which is now at 15. He spun a gem against the Cardinals 2 Sundays ago, and then had that 8 shutout innings pitch against Milwaukee last Saturday.
Prince Fielder would like to have that last fastball back. 90 miles an hour middle in, and he found it straight back. Brewers have not been able to get real good consistent wood on pitches from Wandy Rodriguez for some reason, and he doesn't throw all that hard.
And down goes Prince Fielder. So Rodriguez gets him on a breaking ball. The second out of the inning. Ricky Weeks still standing at second base.
Yep, a 76 mile an hour slider. Took a little bit off and had Prince way out in front. Off the plate, and Prince Fielder swings right through it again. He'd love to have that fastball that he fouled straight back. He'd like to get another whack at that pitch.
Here's Ryan Braun with 2 away. 286 average with 16 homers, 66 driven in for Braun. Good numbers across the board, but not Braun-like numbers. Now Ryan Braun sat down with the writers in Chicago, Adam McCalvey and Tom Hodgecourt, and talked about his season. Good reading there from both guys about Braun, and talking about his season and his expectations. Neither of which he feels like he's met as a team or as an individual,
right.
But still a lot of baseball to be played.
Expects a lot of himself as Ryan Braun. I mean, he set the bar so high, and very difficult for any player, even a superstar, to continue at the pace Ryan had set for himself. I don't necessarily think that this will be considered a bad season for Ryan Braun. He still has a shot at 100 RBIs at 66.
Game number 110 here tonight of the 162 game schedule. The 2-1. Braun hits it hard, but right at Jeff Blum. And Wandy Rodriguez keeps his consecutive scoreless inning streak going. To the second we go. Inning. Check him out, Rock. He's got a duck.
Nice.
Oh, there's a trick.
It's not real?
I don't think so, unless the duck has some issues, medical issues. Never know what you'll see at Miller Park. Free entertainment all around. See there? He went with the tights, but he also has the fanny pack going. Items sold separately, I hear.
Fanny pack went out of style, what, about 15 years ago?
And it's serving a great purpose right now, though.
Now they have the man purse, don't they?
The Merce. Jeff Blum leads off for the Astros. Top of the second inning, Dave Bush, a scoreless first despite a leadoff walk and a stolen base by Michael Bourne. And Blum into shallow right, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Blum's just coming back from elbow surgery, had some bone chips removed. So he is just now returning. They used him as a pinch hitter in St. Louis. He was on the DL when the Brewers played the Astros this past weekend, but this is his first start since coming back.
Not a bad pitch by Bush, and Jeff Blum's success against Dave Bush continues. 9 for 20 now. Didn't even hit that one all that well. Down on the trademark, even below that, and able to just dump it into right field.
So a leadoff base runner once again for Houston, and here's Brad Wallace. If you joined our broadcast in Houston, Brad Wallace, the kid that was involved in the Roy Oswalt trade, but it was a disconnected trade. So Wallace was with the Blue Jays. The Astros made a trade with the Phillies, acquiring 3 players, and then one of those players they turned right around and traded him to the Toronto Blue Jays to get Wallace. So it wasn't the straight up trade with Roy Oswalt, but it was the Oswalt trade that allowed Wallace to finally make it to the big leagues. And I say finally, he was only drafted in 08, but This guy, when he was drafted, they said was a big league ready bat out of Arizona State.
Well, he finally got that first hit against Milwaukee. A little blooper into left field, but since that time he's been swinging the bat pretty well. 4 for 13, hitting over 300.
Scored a couple of runs, and he'll get the chance to play every day at first base for Brad Mills. And he cut it a miss, so Bush goes up the ladder. And Wallace strikes out. Out number 1, the first strikeout for Dave Bush.
Hey, follow the Brewers on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phone with MLB.com At Bat 2010. It features play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcasts. Go to Brewers.com today for details.
Chris Johnson will hit for Houston. You might not recognize the name, but this guy is quickly making a name for himself at Minute Maid Park.
That big dude that can hit the ball to the ballpark line to line. He hit a right field home run against the Brewers in Houston. Got big time power.
Dave Bush has not retired this hitter. Johnson is 6 for 6 against Dave Bush this season. And what a hitter he looks like he's going to be. Already with 5 home runs, he's only posted 143 at bats.
It's not bad. 10 for 20 last 6 games.
A couple of home runs, 11 RBIs for Johnson.
And this Astros team has really been scoring some runs since the All-Star break. Averaging almost 6 runs a game. In the first 3.5 months of the season, they had been scuffling to put runs on the board, averaged about 3.5. It's not just their offense, their pitching's been pretty good as well.
Well, Jeff Bagwell was named as Astros hitting coach right about the time Houston started hitting. He deflects the credit. He just says we're staying on plan. Sean Barry was let go as the Astros hitting coach with a team that was scoring a little over 3 runs a game. Now they're up near 6 runs per game since Bagwell took over.
Getting good pitching. Their defense has been much better. Yeah, young kids, particularly those 2 guys on the corners, Johnson and Wallace, have injected a little bit of enthusiasm into this lineup.
That one's hit hard to left. That's a base hit. Braun on a hop picks it up, and that'll keep Blum at second base. Boy, this guy, he is something else. He's 7 for 7 now against Dave Bush and has just destroyed Milwaukee pitching over the last 4 games.
He's got that slight uppercut, and that ball had a little bit of a sink on it as it got out to Ryan Braun. A little backspin on that. That might be off the wall. Fastball down and in. And Johnson pops those hips open. Look at the angle of that bat, right on the sweet spot, and a little bit of top spin on that baseball. It does a little bit of a duck hook out into left field.
Speaking of Jeff Bagwell,
yeah,
the king of the top spin. So 2 on with 1 away, and here's Jason Castro, the Astros' 8th place hitter, and their catcher. Castro hitting at just .202, 89 big league at bats. Does have a couple of home runs and 5 driven in. That slow curveball misses.
And Castro, a pretty good throwing catcher. He's got a throwout percentage of about 500. You've got Humberto Quintero, who does most of the catching for the Astros. Not a bad thrower as well.
Jason Castro getting the chance in the big leagues. And getting a chance to learn from an excellent defensive catcher in Quintero. Astros had a big prospect catcher named J.R. Tolles that we saw a little bit of last year, but Castro passing him on the depth chart, and he swings and misses. Down he goes. A strikeout for Bush. That's out number 2. And now the pitcher Rodriguez coming up with 2 men aboard.
Another high fastball. This one getting cash. Wallace struck out on a high fastball. So both outs in the inning come with a strikeout. Hey, the Astros have had 4 catchers on their 25-man roster this year, so they've had a tough time putting together a catching corps.
It was Pudge Rodriguez who caught for the Astros last year before he was traded to Texas. Got to be careful with Wandy Rodriguez. He's a good hitting pitcher. A .244 batting average this year. He's 10 for 41 at the plate. Gets jammed, a little bouncer. Weeks with a lot of time. And the side retired. So Bush strands a couple of Astros. He picks up 2 strikeouts. And he picks on the rookies, Wallace and Castro. And we head to the bottom of the second. Money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by American Furniture, Electronics, and Appliances. Bring it home. Miller Park on a beautiful Friday night here in the Midwest. The State Fair is going on. Brewers baseball and ice homestand beginning tonight. It's the Astros for the weekend series, and then the Diamondbacks come in Monday. Hope you'll make plans to be with us at some point during this homestand. And the rest of us and the fans and the animals that are here. That seemed like a good idea when the night started. Fun to people watch.
And when by the time the night is over, it's going to be a good idea again.
That's right. That's right. A lot of wildlife in the ballpark tonight.
Yeah.
Can be good fun at the ballpark, Rock. And there's always a lot of good fun here at Miller Park, no matter the standings. Casey McGee ready to lead off for Milwaukee, and he fouls one back, trying to get after that first pitch from Wandy Rodriguez.
And Bush, that 89-mile-an-hour fastball. It's one of those things sometimes. Don't have to throw 95 to get fastballs by hitters. It's all about what they're geared for. You know, the change-up, the slow curveball by Rodriguez, and he'll slip that very average fastball right by him.
We saw one of your former teammates, a man who was the master at changing speeds at the ballpark earlier today, Doug Jones.
Yeah.
A little pop-up from McGee and one out here in the second inning. Say, get ready for the PGA Championship at Kohler, Wisconsin, as CBS 58 presents Whistling Straits, the PGA Championship Special. Tune in Wednesday night at 10:35 following the 10 at 10 news on CBS 58. You know what they call the PGA Championship?
What's that?
Glory's last stand.
Is that right? Why is that?
It's the last major of the year.
That's what I thought.
And I hear Whistling Straits is just beaming right now. It looks beautiful. Lorenzo Cain back in the big leagues. Got a nice ovation. Cain last played for AAA Nashville on Wednesday. That's going to be a tough one. Barehanded thrown away, and Cain is on his way to second. The speedy Lorenzo Cain already making an impact with his legs.
Another base hit for Lorenzo Cain. This guy ever going to make it out? Man, 4 hits now and 7 at bats at the major league level. That'll be a hit and an error. Base hit. It would have been a miraculous play to even make it close. You're better off just eating that one. Johnson shouldn't even throw it. Throws it away, and Lorenzo into second base. So another man in scoring position for the Brewers. And a base runner with pretty good speed at that.
Cain was a base stealer in the minor leagues this year. 26 steals, caught just 3 times. And he has his 4th major league hit in his first home game in the major leagues. Fans have heard a lot about Lorenzo Cain. He was on the fast track just like Escobar, but Cain had a knee injury last year. Didn't require surgery, but he missed most of the season last year, and that set him back maybe a half season or so.
We've seen a lot of him the last couple of years in spring training. You can just see the raw tools that he has. It's just a matter of his being able to develop them down in the minor leagues, and he certainly was able to do that after he became healthy. Being healthy, that's the first thing. Staying on the field, that's what you have to do down in the minor leagues. Do that, you develop, and you get an opportunity.
Alcides Escobar made that trek through the Brewers minor league system, getting the everyday shortstop job this year. Saw a little bit of Escobar last year in September, and he showed enough for Doug Melvin to make the trade. J.J. Hardy for Carlos Gomez to open the door for Escobar to play every day. So when Jonathan Lucroy catches, the Brewers are going to be rookie up the middle for the most part, with the exception of Ricky Weeks. You have a rookie catcher, a rookie shortstop, and a rookie center fielder in Lorenzo Cain. That is down the line, a fair ball. Cain around the bag. He'll score easily. The ball is bobbled in left field. And Escobar into second. That'll go as a double for Escobar, an RBI. And it's 1-0 Milwaukee.
Not so much for the scoreless streak for Wandy Rodriguez. It will end at 16 consecutive scoreless innings. A breaking ball that stayed up. In off the plate, but it was up, not much on it, and then able to whistle it down the left field line, so the Brewers on the board first.
That's got to feel good for Lorenzo Cain to get right after it. A base hit, and then a run scored gives the Brewers the early lead. George Gutierrez takes a strike. Cain is a great personality. As you get to know him, we've sat down with him for an interview and good chance to talk to him the last 2 springs. He's a Southern gentleman in every way, Lorenzo Cain. Yes, sir. No, sir. And you can see he's loving being in the big leagues.
That's a way to get the fans on your side. Base hit, score a run.
Born in Valdosta, Georgia, raised in northern Florida. Well, you wish him all the best. He's got a chance to be a terrific major league player, according to his teammates. I remember Mike Cameron always had a high appreciation for Lorenzo Cain's ability. Kind of took him under his wing for a couple of years.
And you knew when you saw him up here early on, you knew it wasn't going to be long before you saw him back here again. It was just a matter of the Brewers not able to get him enough playing time at the time. You don't want him sitting on the bench, so with Lorenzo Cain here in Milwaukee, you figure he's going to play just about every day, or he wouldn't be here.
Now, that was the issue with Kane the first time around. Do you keep him in the big leagues and use him as a pinch hitter like he was doing for the 3 games he was here while the Brewers were in Atlanta and Pittsburgh? Or do you send him back down to AAA and let him play every day and then have him ready for a moment like this? And of course, the Brewers chose to have him go play every day in AAA. Swing and a miss. Qatar is down on strikes. And Rodriguez has his second strikeout and the second out of his second inning.
That tied him up with a fastball up and in. All about location for Wandy Rodriguez. That pitch actually was supposed to be away, ended up and in. At about 90 miles an hour. Gets it right by George.
So 2 outs. Here's Dave Bush. Old school in every way, Dave Bush. The way he wears his pants, no batting gloves. He's getting ready for the lumberjack season up there in Maine. That's how he stays in shape in the offseason. He chops wood.
Got to keep the house warm.
I think that's what Mickey Mantle used to do. Except he was ordered to by his father. Makes you a good hitter, though, when you have those strong wrists, strong hands.
Yeah.
So there's a lesson to you, kids. You don't need to spend time in the indoor cage. Just go chop wood all winter.
Good chop wood.
Now Bush goes down on strikes. So the inning is over, but the 2 rookies doing some damage in the second inning against Rodriguez. Lorenzo Cain, welcome to Milwaukee. An infield hit. He scores the first run. 1-0 Milwaukee. The top of the 3rd inning. Well, the big trade while the Brewers were in Houston last weekend. Roy Oswalt traded to the Philadelphia Phillies. He pitched well last night, but did not pick up the win. Lance Berkman traded to the Yankees 2 days later. And Berkman is getting a front row seat at that great Yankees-Red Sox rivalry at Yankee Stadium right now. So 2 cornerstones, Berkman and Oswalt, traded away. What was interesting about that trade, Oswalt basically demanded a trade. He doesn't like to use that terminology, but he went to ownership and went to the media and said he'd like to play for a winner because he doesn't have many seasons left. But he had a no-trade clause. He and Berkman with no trade clauses, so it made it very tough for the Astros to trade Roy Oswalt. Now, Lance Berkman took the other approach. He said, look, if it can make the team better, I'll waive my no-trade clause. And Berkman ends up in New York, and
it's not a bad seat.
Man, both of them have a chance to obviously go to the postseason, to go to a World Series. I think the Yankees and the Phillies are certainly capable.
And you don't know if it's a coincidence or not. Maybe some of the distractions that the team felt regarding Oswalt and Berkman, that, you know, getting traded, Oswalt saying he wants to go, and how does that make his teammates feel?
Michael Bourne down the right field line. This is big trouble. Bourne can fly. He is around second. He'll stop there. It'll be a double. So Bourne's been aboard twice, and for the third consecutive inning, Dave Bush has given up a leadoff base runner. I'm stunned that he stopped at second base. They pulled up a little bit as though you know, maybe something snagged on him in his legs or something, but that's ordinarily a ball down in that corner like that, especially when the Brewers had him shaded. Really not to pull the ball down the line like that. I would have thought he'd gotten to third base easily with his speed. But with nobody out, you never want to make the first out at third base. Dave Clark, the Astros third base coach, holding him up all the way around. Bourne now at 22 doubles. By way of comparison, Ricky Weeks banged out his 21st in the first inning. I think you're right on the distractions, though. You know, here's a team that leading up to the trade deadline for an entire month, and they've been playing pretty good baseball the entire month, especially after the All-Star break. But, you know, there's rumors surfacing here. Who's interested in Oswalt? The media has to answer those questions, ask those questions, and a big crowd in the clubhouse each night.
Yep.
And at one point, it was said by the Astros owner, Drake McLean, that he wasn't going to trade Roy Oswalt. So basically, you had a little negotiation in the media, and that means the players usually have to end up standing up and talking about it, answering questions about it.
The Astros really a veteran ball club until that trade. I mean, you infuse, as we talk about, inject a little bit of youth into that lineup. You get some young players running around, get that enthusiasm going, and it sometimes it rubs off on everybody else.
Keppinger, big swing and a miss on a 3-1 pitch. He got a cut fastball from Dave Bush, so it gave him a wrinkle and a hitter's count.
There are times when Dave Bush throws that pitch, it is absolutely right on the corner, just like that. A good pitch to throw behind any count. Other times he'll leave that one right down the middle of the plate.
Fastball inside, ball 4. Keppinger draws the walk. Yeah, so not a good start for Dave Bush in this third inning. He's been able to avoid some trouble in the first 2 innings, stranding 3. But now 2 on with the middle of this Astros order coming up. Nobody out. Pence flew out to right his last time up.
Well, the Brewers have Prince Fielder way off that first baseline, and because of that, Jeff Keppinger's got a monster lead at first. Look how far off the right field line Prince is. I mean, he's in the hole between first and second, and watch Keppinger creep just about to where Prince is. There's no way you get a force out with Keppinger that far off of first base.
Runners go. Throw to third, and it is late. Bourne is in there with a steal, a double steal for the Astros. 3 stolen bases already for Houston. Bourne has 2 of them.
And a lot of times when you have first and second and the lead guy goes, your best chance is to get the trail runner. But with Keppinger having such a big lead, there's no way you're going to be able to throw him out. He's about a third of the way down there before the ball's thrown. Not sure why you would position Prince in that position with a man at first base. You got to keep him close somehow.
0-2 is a count on Pence. And he hammers one right center. That's going to go to the wall. 2 runs will score for the Astros. And Pence will roll into second base with a 2 RBI double. Just like that, the Astros have the lead.
Astros doing what they do best. They don't hit a lot of home runs, or at least they haven't up until the last couple of weeks. There's that curveball. He leaves it up in the zone, and a very good piece of hitting by Hunter Pence, not trying to pull it. Left it up. It was out over the plate. Shoots it into right center field, and the Astros take a 2-1 lead. So they get on, they steal bases, and they drive them in. That's what they've been doing lately.
Now Carlos Lee with Pence out at second base.
And before tonight's game, the Astros' last 8 games, they've outscored their opponent 60-21. And this is a team that couldn't score a run if their life depended on it early in the season.
And that includes an 18-run game against St. Louis. And they've won 7 of those 8 games. The Astros in its series with the Brewers won by scores of 5-0, 6-0, and 5-2. Outscoring the Crew 16-2 in the 3-game series in Houston. And the only 2 runs for Milwaukee in that series came on a 2-run home run by Corey Hart in the 6th inning of Game 3. That was it. And go figure, the next day the Brewers go to Chicago and score 18 runs on 26 hits. Second time through the lineup has been tough on Bush. He's given up 2 doubles and a walk. 2 runs are in for Houston. Still nobody out. And a strike with a cut fastball. 2-2.
It's been a good pitch for him so far tonight. He's had some problems locating his fastball, but that cut fastball has been good for him. Right on the outside corner. It's been a very good get back into the count pitch.
There's a fastball fouled away. Now, when Dave Bush is right, and you're talking about the cut fastball, which has the small break, the quick late break away from a right-handed hitter. When he's been right, some of his most successful games that he's pitched is when he's been able to back that pitch up with that comeback sinker, the one on the outside corner to a right-handed hitter that looks like a ball but comes back into the strike zone.
The hitter gives up on it because right out of the hand it looks like it's off the corner, but it has that late movement catching the edge, and an equally good pitch against lefties. They think it's inside.
Bush has to be so fine with his stuff. Escobar knocks it down. Throw to first is not in time. Lee beats it out. Escobar might have had a play at second base. But a great play by Escobar to even have a chance at an out there.
What he did was, by keeping that ball in the infield, was keep Pence at second. If Pence takes off, that's pretty good base running by Hunter Pence. Now, a lot of guys are going to think that's in left field, try to get a big jump and score, but Pence goes back to second. And Escobar does a nice job keeping Pence away from third base. That's about as fast as you'll see Carlos Lee run.
It's amazing the gear he can get into when he's sniffing out a base hit.
Right.
So 4 consecutive base runners. Here's Blum. Blum singled to right his last time up. Well, we've seen some big innings this year. Get away early from the Brewers. Bush trying to prevent that here. He could use a ground ball. That one's hit well center field. Kane eases back. He's got it. Pence will tag, and he'll make it to third.
Well, there you go. That good play by Escobar, keeping Hunter Pence at second base, saves a run for the time being. Good job by Alcides Escobar, and now a double play gets the Brewers out of the inning and minimize that damage.
Now the Brewers don't lose much, if anything, in center field with Lorenzo Cain. He is an excellent defensive outfielder. He's not as fast as Gomez, certainly doesn't have the experience of Jim Edmonds, but Cain is well accomplished out there in center field.
He's kind of the tweener between Gomez and Edmonds. He doesn't play as deep as Gomez or as shallow as Edmonds, but he's pretty much in between.
Brett Wallace with one away. Wallace traded 3 times since that 08 draft. He was a first rounder in 08, drafted by the Cardinals. He was part of the Matt Holliday deal that the Cardinals sending Wallace to Oakland, and then Oakland to Toronto, and then this year he was involved in the Roy Oswalt deal in a roundabout way, getting to Houston. So he's been involved in some pretty big trades.
Always has been able to hit, whether they find him a spot, first base, third base. Looks more like a first base prospect.
Or as one scout says, he just needs a place to stand between his at-bats because he can hit. Played his college ball at Arizona State, and he's a Pac-10 Player of the Year, just huge numbers at Arizona State. The 13th pick overall in 08. He was picked 2 players ahead of Brett Laurie, the Brewers prospect, who is in Double-A right now. Laurie was drafted out of high school. He was officially traded for Anthony Gose. Gose came from the Phillies to the Astros and then over to Toronto in the Wallace deal. First and third, one away, and a 1-2 count on Wallace, who struck out his last time up. And he strikes out again, this time on a slow curveball. Bush struck him out with a fastball in the second, and a pitch about 20 miles an hour slower this time.
69 miles an hour. Not only did he pull the string, but watch the break on. It's tough to get that combination of very slow and a big break, and maybe gravity taking over, but Wallace way out in front. There's a big out for Dave Bush. Well, you get out of this mess with only 2 runs on the board. You got to feel pretty good.
No, when Bill Schroeder talks about experience of big league hitters and it takes a little time, it's a pretty good example right there between Hunter Pence and Brett Wallace on the same pitch.
You got to know what your job is up there at the plate. You got to make adjustments. You got to shorten up a little bit. And I, for one, can tell you how difficult that can be when you're up there at the plate with a man at third base. It is not an easy thing to do, but some guys have a little bit easier time making the adjustment within the at-bat.
So 2 gone, first and third, and that is a strike to Chris Johnson. So if you go out, you put an L screen up, and you throw batting practice to Chris Johnson, how many consecutive hits could he possibly have if he knew what was coming?
Yeah.
He's 7 for 7 against Dave Bush.
That's unbelievable.
And Bush is trying to get him out.
And just about every one of his hits have been hit right on the nose. I mean, not a lot of cheapies in there, maybe one.
Johnson against the Brewers this year is 10 for 18. 7 of those hits coming against Busch. That is a .556 batting average against Milwaukee this season. Law of averages tell you
that's going to come to an end.
He's going to be an out here. Two and two. Johnson is now hitting .354 for the season. He's got 144 at-bats. Johnson in his 43rd game. Even in batting practice, at some point, a line drive is hit right at a fielder.
How about that Rockies game? 11 straight hits. Rockies Cubs. That's almost impossible.
11 straight. Well, it's a National League record.
Right.
National League's been around a while, Rock.
Which means it is nearly impossible.
In the air, right center, Corey Hart. Make him pay, Corey. Nice catch. Law of averages. Finally catches up to Chris Johnson. And Dave Busch does a tremendous job to get out of a mess. As we go to the bottom of the third and the top of the order coming up for Milwaukee. Wandy Rodriguez giving up a run in the second, but it was an unearned run after the error allowed the runner to second base. So the consecutive scoreless inning streak as far as earned runs go still intact, but the Brewers finally do scratch a run against Wandy Rodriguez in the second inning. He got 8 shutout against him last Saturday in Houston. Ricky Weeks doubled his first time up.
Now the consecutive scoreless streak that Oral Hershiser put up,
right?
That was runs of any kind.
Of any kind,
right? So essentially that streak is over. Rodriguez streak.
He won't be catching Oral Hershiser.
Right. Doesn't have to be earned runs.
We were looking at earned runs today. You know, the Cincinnati Reds, that's an amazing stat.
Right.
You posted. The Cincinnati Reds have allowed, what, just 16 earned runs all season?
16 earned runs.
Unearned runs, I'm sorry.
16 unearned runs. San Diego 19 unearned runs. Those are the two top teams in the National League in that category. The most unearned runs allowed, the Chicago Cubs, 71.
And when you analyze stats like that, what does that mean to you? Good defense, obviously, because there's not that many opportunities.
Right. Well, it just means either one of two things. You're making errors at the absolute wrong times out there defensively, or your pitchers really aren't backing up or covering up mistakes by the defense. Now, I've never pitched, and I don't know. I mean, if you make a couple of errors behind a guy that they let down just because they would be unearned runs, I can't imagine that. Because unearned runs, still count on a win-loss record.
Weeks strikes out. He chased that breaking ball from Rodriguez. And that's the fourth strikeout for the Astros left-hander.
Good slider down and in, changing speeds. He throws that pitch in the low 80s, and Ricky out in front of it. This has such good arm action on all of his pitches. They look the same when his arm is going through and delivering the baseball. You can't tell what it's going to be. Doesn't tip anything. Doesn't give you any indication what he's throwing. Apparently that wasn't the case early in the year when he started out 3-10.
Commanding it all now.
And just like hitting, pitching is a lot of confidence. You got to have confidence out there. You got to feel as though that you're going to put the ball where you want to with the velocity that you want. If you go out there doubting yourself, it's awfully difficult to compete, whether you're a pitcher or a hitter.
Corey Hart, little soft fly ball, long run for Blum. He's got it in foul territory and 2 outs in the third inning.
Hey, Corey Hart is currently in the lead to be the next We Energy's High Energy Player of the Year with 22% of the votes. Cast your vote today at Brewers.com/We Energies. 22%.
Makes sense. Corey Hart, he's been a high energy guy.
He caught Todd Coffey. Early in the year, Todd Coffey was a runaway winner.
Must have been that stretch while Coffey was on the DL.
Right. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
It happens.
22%, that means there's a lot of players in the running.
It's a tight race. High and tight. You heard Fielder yelp as he got out of the way. He was waiting for the pain on that one.
Yeah, there wasn't too much of that. Too much of that. Fastballs up around the head to the Milwaukee Brewers. What is that? I mean, this guy has too good a command to be doing that. Can't have that.
Prince was barking as he just managed to get out of the way, and Ken Maka has seen all too much of this. And Fielder into center field. Bourne makes a catch for the out. The inning is over. 1-2-3. The Brewers retired in order. Escobar with an RBI double. He drove in Lorenzo Cain in the second inning. But the Astros came right back. They scored twice in the third. 2 RBI double by Hunter Pence. Bush did a nice job getting out of the rest of that inning, however. Strikeouts on Brad Wallace. And he got Chris Johnson to fly out to right to end it. And strand a couple of base runners. So the Astros have actually left 5 men on base. But they lead it here in the fourth as Bush is back on the mound to face the bottom of the order. Jason Castro leads off, then the pitcher, and then back to the top of the order. And a swing and a miss. There's that slow curve. So it looks like the Astros hitters who are having a tough time with the slow curveball are the Astros rookie hitters.
Young hitters just, squeezing the sawdust out of that handle, looking to hit the ball out of the ballpark. When you throw a good off-speed pitch, you put it where you want to. It doesn't matter if it's a rookie or a veteran. They're tough to hit. The key is getting it down in the zone.
There's that curveball. That one's hit well into right center. A base hit. So he dialed it in that time, did Jason Castro. Another leadoff base runner, the 4th consecutive inning. Subway trivia tonight. Who did Nolan Ryan strike out to become the all-time strikeout leader? Back in 1983, April 27th.
Is he in the ballpark? I'll take that as a yes.
That is a bunt and a fair ball, and Rodriguez is tagged out. Oh, was that? I thought that might have been a rhetorical question. Or all the noise that was coming through the left ear muff of his headset.
Oh, did you say something to me? Not a bad bunt. I mean, talking about deadening a baseball in front of home plate. How about an inch in front of home plate? And George tags out Wandy Rodriguez. It's hard to successfully bunt a guy over when you bunt a ball about an inch in front of home plate, but he was able to do it.
You got to make contact. Sacrifice bunt number 5 for Rodriguez. And a strike to Michael Bourne. Why, yes, Rock. The answer is yes. He is in the ballpark. Did you say something?
Why else would the question pop up tonight, right? It's kind of obvious.
Sometimes they go random in there. Never know. We got a fresh crew in the truck tonight after a day off yesterday. Michael Bourne's been aboard twice. A walk and a double. Scored a run in that third inning. Ricky Weeks. And that's the second out. Runner advances to third. So Castro now 90 feet away with Jeff Keppinger coming up. First time Bourne has been retired. 4 consecutive innings. The Astros have put their leadoff base runner aboard. 3 hits and a walk.
Yeah, Masters only 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position, but they've already had 9 opportunities with a man in scoring position. We're only in the 4th inning. So Dave Bush has gotten himself in trouble in every inning, but he's only allowed the 2 runs. He's done a good job minimizing the damage so far tonight. This is a big out right here.
Well, the Astros have stranded 5. Keppinger, one of their better hitters, with a runner at third. Keppinger tonight, a walk, a steal, and a run scored last time up. He flew out to left in the first inning. And he takes a strike. A big sweeper in there for strike 2. Bush uses that curveball basically as his changeup. He doesn't throw a straight changeup. His off-speed pitch is his curve.
Yeah, his curveball and his cutter.
Coming inside on Keppinger.
One thing you don't want to do with Keppinger is leave a pitch up in the zone with this guy. Fastball or breaking pitch. He's a very good high ball hitter. And with 2 strikes, likes to shoot the ball in the right field. That's why you have Lorenzo Cain. He's out shaded toward right. Keep the ball down. You're going to throw the curveball, make sure it's down. Looks like they're coming inside with a fastball again.
But when you see a catcher set up inside that early, does a hitter, does he know that? Can he feel that?
Well, you can sense it a little bit, but I think it's a tough one because I don't think he can see him.
The 2-2. There's the curve, and it just missed.
That's a good take. That is a good take by Keppinger. That was a tough pitch. Alfonso Marquez, the home plate umpire, calls it down in the zone. That's a beauty. How do you take it?
Now 3-2. Runner at third, 2 outs. And that one missed badly. So Bush lets Keppinger get away. Almost had him rung up. Instead, it's first and third. 2 more base runners for the Astros. And here comes the dangerous Hunter Pence.
Unless you make too much noise as you slide over on the inside part of the plate or you move away, you want to do it. You want to do it quietly. You want to do it as quietly as you can and as late as you can. But sometimes pitchers will tell you, I need my target early. And sometimes a pitcher will tell you, don't be moving like that when I'm ready to throw.
You see more and more catchers now move their entire body off the width of the plate. So instead of just putting the glove up on the inside half, the glove stays in the middle of the frame of the catcher. His entire body moves to the inner half or outer half. Pence launches one foul. That is well hit, but well foul. And it's a ball and a strike.
Well, you straddle the outside corner, you straddle the inside corner, and you go outer half, inner half early in the count. You see George reaching back toward the inside corner. That's never a good sign with a breaking pitch like that. Got away with a hanger.
Pence hit a hanging curveball for a double his last time up, drove in a pair. Fastball got by him. Weeks shovels it to Escobar. Dave Bush is walking a tight wire tonight, but he's been able to get out of a few innings here. Still 2-1. Yes, he is. And there he is. Brad Mills on the catcher. Strikeout number 35-10. Nolan Ryan's 3,000th strikeout was Danny Heap at the Astrodome. Mills was a third baseman, caught a little bit, expos. He and Ken Maka have similar background. And Brad Mills has been the bench coach in Boston the last few years under Terry Francona. And Nolan Ryan is in the news today. Actually, yesterday, Nolan Ryan Group, the Ryan Greenberg Group, getting the rights to purchase the Texas Rangers. They won the auction.
Right.
A good old-fashioned country auction for a Major League Baseball team.
Did they have an auctioneer talking real fast?
That would be. I wish they would have. The auction dollars, the increments went up $2 million.
Yeah.
And you had 20 minutes. So it'd have to be a slow-talking auctioneer.
Do they have those?
I don't think so. They can go slow if you need it. So Nolan Ryan is now an owner. He'll still be team president of the Texas Rangers. And speaking of, the Rangers are a runaway train right now in the American League West. They have the largest division lead by far. Every other race is a good race.
Yeah.
But the Rangers are 8.5 ahead of the Oakland Athletics.
18 games over 500 coming into play today. Wow.
Braun bounces one to third. A fair ball, long throw, and it's not in time. Braun, with his great speed, beats it down the line, and that's an infield hit.
Yeah, it looks a little bit lackadaisical there at third base on that play. I mean, it looked like Chris Johnson thought he had him easily, not realizing perhaps who's running. Check it out. Getting over there, really no sense of urgency with that throw to first base. Good pick by Wallace, but Ryan Braun sniffing base hit. Always find an extra gear when you think you have a hit at the end of that run. And just barely able to beat it, and a nice call by Tim Timmons at first base.
Close play at first. This umpiring crew was in the crosshairs last night in Miami. Namely the second base umpire tonight, Bob Davidson, who was the third base umpire last night in that Phillies-Marlins game. And a controversial foul call on a batted ball down the line that actually bounced in fair territory prior to the third base bag and then after the third base bag.
Looks fair to me, but I'm not the umpire. And interesting that this, his explanation. He said it hit in fair territory, had a funny spin on it, actually curved around third base in foul territory and then landed in fair territory past the bag. An interesting route to left field.
I will vouch for Bob Davidson on this fact, because I was watching the game. That ball had a crazy spin on it. It did look like, I don't know if it hit something in the dirt, but it was tracking toward a foul ball. It had that angle, the trajectory, and all of a sudden it hit the ground and kind of came back and did like a banana around back into fair territory. That being said, if it lands in fair territory before the bag and after the bag, it's a
unless it's a boomerang.
It's a fair ball.
It's a baseball. How much is it going to?
I know.
How much is it going to curve in that little bit of time? But
believe me.
Anyway,
it would have been a game-winning hit for the Marlins. That would have ended the game. They had a runner at second base, and it would have been a great comeback for the Florida Marlins. Instead, the Phillies got a home run from Carlos Ruiz the next inning, and they went on to win. So what all of that means as far as the race goes, the Atlanta Braves, who also won, stayed just 2 games ahead of the Phillies instead of 3 games ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies.
It's like a magic baseball.
It did look like one of those gyro balls. Looked like a Doug Jones changeup is what it looked like. McGee gets sawed off. That one's going to fall, a base hit. So the Brewers with 2 on, an infield hit, and a little flare from Casey McGee. 2 on with nobody out.
Now Carlos Lee plays a very deep left field, doesn't get a very good jump, and that's an easy base hit for Casey. A fastball up and in. As soon as that ball left the bat, the trajectory, Carlos Lee conceded the base hit to Casey. So the Brewers have their first 2 hitters aboard.
Now Lorenzo Cain steps in the spotlight here in the fourth. Cain had an infield hit, went to second on a throwing error, and then scored the only Brewers run. That was back in the second inning. Got an RBI from Escobar. Not a bad idea. Now remember, Cain just got here. He did play Wednesday for Nashville in Reno, so he had the day off to travel. Just wanted to make sure on the signs again from Brad Fisher.
Yeah, a little bit early to be sacrifice bunting with Lorenzo Cain, your number 6 hitter. Bottom of the order coming up. I think that's why Brad Fisher had a little bit of a meeting with him. Swing away, kid. It's the 4th inning. Let's get a big run up here. Let's get a big crooked number.
And a breaking ball strike from Rodriguez. 0-2 the count on Cain. Combined between Nashville and Huntsville, a .317 average, 27 RBIs. In Double-A Huntsville, he hit .324 in 62 games. Triple-A Nashville, he hit .299. That covered 22 games. Cain was a Double-A All-Star this year. That was at the time he joined the Brewers in Atlanta. Oh, 0-2 the count, 2 on. And Cain takes one high and outside. Cain had a hit Wednesday in Reno. 1 for 4. I asked him how he was swinging the bat. He said pretty good. He said he'd been on a good little run. He's been hitting leadoff down in AAA.
He was saying leadoff is tougher than he thought. A little bit more to it. Shouldn't be that way, though. I mean, you are a certain type of hitter, and it's the responsibility of the manager to put a certain type of hitter in a certain spot in the batting order, not the other way around. You can't adjust your style based on where you're hitting.
Well, that was always the conversation between Ned Yost and Ricky Weeks in the early days. You're going to be a leadoff hitter, but you're a power threat.
Do
Go
your
up there,
thing.
yeah, do what you do.
Right.
2-2. And a bouncer to third. Johnson to the bag. The throw. And it's not in time. Dug out nicely by Wallace.
Wouldn't have had him anyway. Boy, that kid can run.
So Cain beats it down the line. He reaches on a fielder's choice. That play by Wallace keeps McGee at second base with 1 out. Could have been another error if that gets by Wallace on the third baseman Johnson.
Yeah, good job by the Astros first baseman to keep that ball in front of him. He's able to pick it. Came off the bag to make sure that ball didn't go into foul territory. And there's no way you're going to get Lorenzo Cain on a double play like that. That's good play by Wallace.
So Braun put out. 2 on, first and second. Here's Escobar. And a strike. Escobar drove in a run in the second, the only Brewers run at this point. He doubled to left. Strike 2. Rodriguez painted the corner twice with a fastball. Back out there, Escobar down the right field line, slicing foul. Casey McGee at second, Kane at first. Escobar, a little flare. Michael Bourne coming in. He's got it for the out. Man, can he cover some ground.
And playing shallow with Escobar at the plate. Got a great jump on it. Made it look easy. Took him all the way to about the shortstop spot to slow down. So much for wondering if there's something wrong with the legs of Michael Bourne. Watch where he starts. Playing relatively shallow in center and just flat out outruns that baseball and able to make an easy play.
Here's Kataris. A strikeout victim his last time up. Rodriguez struck him out with a fastball. And he starts him with a curve, and it's in there for a strike. If you're wondering why Kataris is catching a left-handed batter against a left-handed starting pitcher, Jonathan Lucroy and his wife bringing in a brand new baby earlier today. Bouncer to second. Keppinger makes a play, and the Brewers come up empty. They get the first two on, but nothing to show for it. Rodriguez still leads 2-1.
Monday through Thursday next week. Tickets are going fast. Call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com today.
Diamondbacks here for 4 games beginning Monday. And it'll be a 7-game homestand in all. The Brewers then go on the road to Colorado and St. Louis, then right back to Miller Park for one of the longest homestands of the year, including, at this point, the first place Padres. But that lead for the San Diego Padres is getting squeezed a little bit. The Giants are now 2 back of San Diego to start play today. Carlos Lee will lead off. Bush has allowed the leadoff base runner, or a leadoff base runner, in each of the first 4 innings. Well, he could use a 3-up, 3-down inning already with 88 pitches through the first 4 innings. In the air, shortstop Escobar wants it. Carlos Lee retired. Snuck a fastball in there, did Dave Bush. And it's out number 1.
Yeah, that pitch set up well with that cut fastball. 1-0 count, and Dave Bush got him to swing and a miss on a cutter. A little bit off speed, then he jammed him with the fastball. That was a good pattern. Good job by Kataris and George Bush. Dave Bush. That's the second time this week I've called him that.
It's the Houston connection.
What do you think? What's going on?
Because, you know, when the Brewers play the Astros, you usually see George Bush. 41. Not 43, 41.
Right.
at the ballpark. I know what you meant.
I know, but that's 2 times this week.
It's all right, Rock. You're a tremendous slouch. Shallow center, Lorenzo Cain coming on. Oh, and it's in and out of his glove.
He had it.
So Cain.
Might be interesting to see how they score that one. That should have been caught. Good job by Cain making up some ground into short center field. He did everything but catch a baseball. Probably average depth out in center field. Outrunning the baseball. He gets there and he had it about numbers high. Should have had it.
That's going to be an error on Cain. So Cain's first error. Runner at first with 1 away. Here's Brett Wallace. Boy, you know Cain has made that catch thousands and thousands of times. And he's probably saying to himself, why here? Why now? In the big leagues with the third deck.
He did everything but the easy part. Squeezing it.
He's just begging for a ground ball. Wallace, he's been tied up by Dave Bush here tonight. He's got him a little bit behind the fastball and a little bit ahead of the curveball. Two strikeouts for Bush against Wallace in this game. 2 of his 3 Ks. Hit well, center field. Cain turns and runs. That's going to go off the wall on a hop. And that's going to get a run in. Blum around third. He'll score easily. As Brett Wallace drives in his 3rd run in the big leagues. And the Astros have a 3-1 lead.
They hit that one well. Boy. Pitch out away from Wallace. He went right with it. I think learned his lesson from his last time up, trying to pull that big curveball. Now this time pretty much same location, waits back much better and able to hit it deep into center field, way over Lorenzo Cain's head, and drives in Blum, who should have been an out. So the error comes back to haunt Dave Bush. That will be still another unearned run on the line for Dave Bush, who has now given up 14 unearned runs this year.
So 3-1 Houston. Here's Chris Johnson now. Bush retired him for the first time this year, his last time up, after 7 consecutive hits against Dave Bush. Three runs on 7 hits for Houston. To the right side, Weeks is there. Nice easy hop for him. And he retires Chris Johnson. On the play, Wallace to third. 2 outs now, a runner at third base. And it's Jason Castro, the Astros catcher, coming up. Got the pitcher due up next.
Yeah, so be careful here. You got Wandy Rodriguez on deck. You certainly don't want to make a mistake and have the number 8 hitter driving a run here.
Castro is an excellent defensive catcher. He's thrown out half the base runners at the plate this season, but he's gone through a tough time at the plate. He's also known as a pretty good hitter. coming up through the Astros minor league system. He was in the middle of an 0 for 15 streak before his 2 hits on Tuesday night.
Yeah, Brewers electing to pitch to Castro here, and if you do, make him, if he's going to get the base hit, make him earn it to the opposite field. Don't give him anything to pull. His base hit his last time up came to right field. And that's what they're doing.
And it's a ball and 2 strikes on Castro.
Throw that curveball, bounce it in the dirt. Guitarist needs to block it. Don't leave anything up in the zone. Taking a big gamble pitching to Castro in this situation.
With the pitcher on deck. And a base open at first. Bush trying to get the Astros catcher here with a runner at third. The 1-2, and he fouls it away.
Good pitch off the inside corner. The Brewers are hoping for is to get Castro, end the inning, and then have Rodriguez lead off the next inning.
He saw that look by Bush. Frustrated that he wasn't able to put him away there. Castro was able to get the bat on the ball and foul it off.
Yeah, he put that pitch right where he wanted it.
Another 1-2 from Bush. Fastball gets away. There he is. Inside corner, a called strike 3. That's what Bush was looking for the first time around. So Dave Bush, he gives up another run but strands a base runner. It's 3-1 Houston.
Enter Time Warner Cable's Diamond Life Sweepstakes, and you could spend a day in the big leagues. One winner will take batting practice at Miller Park, score a major leaguer salary for the day, and watch the Brewers game from a suite. Visit Brewers.com for details.
The roof is open here at Miller Park on a beautiful night for baseball. 3-1. I think both teams feel like they could have a lot more on the board at this point. Rodriguez only run allowed in the second was an unearned run. Brewers with just 4 hits. Dave Bush has had base runners on behind him all night. Bouncer to third. Nice play by Johnson, and a high throw is in time for the out. Well, Johnson's got a good arm over there. I've been impressed with young Chris Johnson. We didn't know much about him before the first trip for the Astros into Milwaukee, and he's been not only has been a good hitter, but he's been a pretty good defender as well.
Showed pretty good range down there in Houston. We saw him make some very nice plays at third base, down the line and in the hole, and showed a good arm tonight. A little bit lacking in accuracy his first couple of throws, but so far so good.
From the mean streets of Naples, Florida. You ever been to Naples?
I have not.
It's a nice, real nice destination. Astros minor league system not thought to have much as far as prospects and big league talent. A little bit down. They're rebuilding though, making a bunch of trades over the last couple of years to better that minor league system, but they're getting some pretty good production. Guys like Chris Johnson. Remains to be seen on Jason Castro behind the plate. Looks like a good player. It's hard to hang your hat on prospects, though, isn't it? You never know what you're going to get when they get to the big leagues.
Well, when you're forced to trade away your big salaried veteran guys like the Astros have been this year, you take what you can get, and you can hope you get some help out of them. And Wallace is a guy that the Astros are banking on right away.
Weeks down on strikes. Wandy Rodriguez right after him with a fastball. Out number 2. The Brewers are back on WMLW Saturday, August 21st at 6 p.m. The Brewers will take on the San Diego Padres that night. Saturday the 21st, 6 p.m. on WMLW. The game is on us. Two outs in the 5th. And here's Corey Hart. And a shot back up the middle, a base hit. But Corey Hart keeps the inning alive, and that'll get Fielder to the plate. Representing the tying run, Hart continues to hit.
Yeah, right back through the middle on the off-speed pitch. Corey Hart able to keep the inning alive. Give Prince Fielder an opportunity. He's been pretty much able to stay on the baseball ever since that date in mid-May. As that pitch out away from him, a little bit of a sinking liner into center field.
Fielder with a big cut. Tying run at the plate, Prince Fielder. He's 0 for 2 against Rodriguez.
One thing you say about Prince, I mean, they might bust him up and in. He might get hit by a number of pitches throughout the year, but he does not give an inch on that inside corner. He stands right on the plate. He keeps that front shoulder closed, daring him to come in there.
Hits that one hard to right. That's a fair ball. It'll go to the corner. Corey Hart racing around third. On his way to the plate. He'll score as Fielder drives it around the Brewers within a run of the Astros.
And talking about that front shoulder staying closed. He did it. Rodriguez made a mistake on the inner half of the plate. Looked like a slider that didn't do much, and Prince Fielder kept that shoulder closed and ripped it down the right field line. Look at that front shoulder. That's all you got to look at for Prince Fielder. A lot of hitters are going to leak that front shoulder out on the breaking ball from a lefty. But Prince stays right in there, able to pull that ball, keep it fair, and with good speed at first base, the Brewers able to get to within one run. That's a good at bat by Prince Fielder. Hanging right in there after getting one tucked under his chin the at bat before.
19 doubles for Fielder. He drives in his 53rd run of the season. And he is the tying run at second base for Ryan Braun. Braun reached on an infield hit in the fourth. He legged one out on a high chopper over to third base. That extends Braun's hitting streak to 6 games. And during that 6-game hitting streak, he's hitting over 500. Braun is 12 for 22 at the plate during this modest 6-gamer.
He's got that old Ryan Braun approach too. With 2 strikes, he's sticking his nose right into that outside corner and able to cover that pitch that's a little bit off the outside part of the plate.
Foul territory. That's going to end up in the seats.
And still quick enough to handle inside.
Now Braun coming off a career-tying game in Chicago. Had a 5-hit game on Monday. 5 for 7 that night. Drove in a couple of runs. Braun sitting on 66 runs batted in. He's got a chance to drive in one here. He could put the Brewers ahead with a long ball. 0-2 the count on Braun. And that gets by Castro. Fielder will end up at third base. So a wild pitch went right between the legs of the catcher, Jason Castro.
Man, it looked like a breaking pitch. There's really no excuse to allow a breaking ball to get through the legs. This doesn't do a very good job getting the knees down. He had one knee down, one knee up, and went right through the 5-hole. Not very good technique.
So some rookie mistakes are showing up here in this game. Fastball missed. 2-2 the count. Tying run over at third base. A run is in on a Fielder double. He drove in hard. And Braun trying to keep it going for McGee. Got him. Rodriguez strikes him out. Down and in with a breaking ball. And the inning is over, but Prince Fielder drives in a run, stays hot at the plate, and Milwaukee is within a run of Wandy Rodriguez and the Astros. 3-2 Houston. We go to the 6th. MLW is presented by Usingers. Usingers in baseball. It's just not summer without them. And by the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. Dave Bush back on the mound. We go to the 6th inning at Miller Park. Milwaukee 3-2. The Astros lead the Brewers. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us tonight on WMLW. Wandy Rodriguez will lead off for Houston. Bush has been walking the tightrope in this game. He's given up 3 runs at this point. The last an unearned run after an error by Kane in center field. Houston has 7 hits, and they've stranded 8 base runners through the first 5 innings.
Yeah, 2 teams combined have stranded 13 base runners and a combined 3 for 22 with runners in scoring position tonight. And that's through 5 innings. So both teams have had a number of scoring chances that they haven't been able to capitalize.
A few games final already in baseball today. The Cincinnati Reds in Chicago this afternoon. The Cubs and the Reds. Cincinnati shut them out 3-0. Bronson Arroyo in 7. Reds stay hot as you see Todd Coffey in the bullpen. So the Reds, who opened the day with a half-game lead over the Cardinals, and stretch that one out here today. St. Louis they're complete as well in Florida. Cardinals shut out the Marlins behind Adam Wainwright. 7-0 Cardinals. Albert Pujols hit number 28. That ball's pretty well hit. Corey Hart going back, and he's got it for the out. Wandy Rodriguez flies out to right. And the first out of this 6th inning.
Yeah, just dropped the head of the bat on that pitch. Looked like it was down, and it just jumped off his back. Corey Hart did a nice job going back to grab it. Surprising that he was playing as deep as he was in right field. A lot of times outfielders come in with a pitcher. Good thing he didn't.
Here's Michael Bourne. By the way, Rock, that Cardinals-Marlins game, Adam Wainwright went the distance.
Yeah.
He won his 16th game. 9 innings, a 2-hit shutout, struck out 7. So all of a sudden, Wainwright, his earned run average is now at .207, which is 2nd in the National League behind Josh Johnson. And he's putting together a Cy Young season, and many felt he could have and should have won a Cy Young award last year.
Yep, had he beat the Brewers the last game of the season, he probably would have won the Cy Young.
That would have been his 20th win. That might have pushed him over the edge with the voters.
The Brewers with a big comeback late after Wainwright had been taken out of the ball game, won in extra innings.
Wainwright's problem last year as far as Cy Young voting, he had to split a lot of the votes with his teammate Chris Carpenter, and he'll probably have to do the same this year. As Bourne strikes out, Dave Bush with back-to-back outs in the 6th inning.
There's a good curveball down in the zone. Taking a lot off that curveball tonight, and look at the location of that one. Perfect. Bushy's done a nice job keeping the Brewers in this game, down 3-2. All the base runners that the Houston Astros have been able to put on base.
It's a season high for pitches for Dave Bush in a game. He's thrown 116 pitches. His season high had been 108. And through all of this, he has not had a 3-of-3 down inning. He's got a chance for one here in the 6th, which would certainly be his last. It's interesting how the the waves go in baseball. You know, Ubaldo Jimenez out of the gates quickly and still one of the best winners in the National League. Jimenez leads the National League with 17 wins. Bouncing to McGee. Nice easy hop. And Dave Bush with his best inning. It might have been his last. See if the Brewers can give him a chance at a win here. They need a couple of runs to do that.
Brewers got an early lead with an Escobar double down the line. That scored Lorenzo Cain, who reached on an infield base hit. Hunter Penn drove in a couple with a double to right center. And the Astros have been swinging the bats the last week or so. Prince Fielder able to get the Brewers to within one run, down 3-2 after Corey Hart singled with 2 outs, scored on Prince's double. And both pitchers have put a number of runners on base, but have been able to minimize the damage so far tonight.
Casey McGee will lead off here in the 6th. Wandy Rodriguez has 6 strikeouts through the first 5 innings. The Brewers with an unearned run in the 2nd. And that Fielder double in the 5th, driving in Hart. That's been it against Wandy Rodriguez in his last 2 starts, as McGee gets under one to center. That's playable for Bourne. And 1 away. You got to tip your hat to Rodriguez, though. He looks like he's hittable, but he's not. He commands very well. He moves it in and out. You know, his fastball is not at 91 miles an hour. It's not overpowering, but it's still good enough.
And he's only thrown a couple at 91. It's been 89, 90 miles an hour and straight as a string. But what he does apparently, and it appears as though he hides the ball pretty well. Hitters really don't see it all that early. He's got good command of his changeup, his slider, and his curveball. So all those things combined, and he's a fierce competitor at that and not afraid to come inside. Not a big guy, but I'll tell you what, he pitches large. You know what I mean by that?
Absolutely.
He's got that demeanor that he's not afraid of anything. Hit it if you can.
His name came up quite a bit approaching the trade deadline. And certainly a guy who any contender would love to have in their starting rotation. But I think the Astros had a high asking price, and they're looking at Rodriguez as a guy to build around. Lorenzo Cain into center field, and Bourne makes a catch for the out. One center fielder to another. Hey, don't miss Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, Dave Matthews, and Neil Young as Farm Aid's 25th anniversary concert plays right here at Miller Park on Saturday, October 2nd. Tickets go on sale at 9 a.m. Saturday, the 14th of August. You can call 414-902-4000 or visit tickets.com. Tip our hat to Jason Hartman, who was able to get Farm Aid to Miller Park. 25th anniversary of Farm Aid. And
We will be in Cincinnati, partner.
I know it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, so don't think about it.
We might have to hook up via satellite here or something, you know, check on the crowd. Got to see Willie play. You know, Willie cut his hair.
Really?
Yeah. It's big news down in Austin. Took him too long to braid it. Escobar takes one a little bit low. 2-1 to count on Alcides Escobar. He drove in a run with a double in the second and then flew out with 2 on in the 4th inning. Rodriguez went 7 shutout innings against the Cardinals 2 starts ago. 8 shutout against the Brewers last time out. As Escobar goes down the line, that's going to fall. A fair ball. And Pence will stare Escobar back to first base. Pence has a great throwing arm, and Escobar wisely holds up.
Man, Pence was just tearing him to take off to second base. 7 outfield assists for Hunter Pence, and those are the unfortunate few that have tried to run on him. Well, Alcides Escobar with his second base hit, a double down the line and left, and now a single down the right field line. So going line to line tonight, continues to swing the bat well.
And it gives George Kataris a home run threat, a shot to give the Brewers the lead here. Kataris is 0 for 2. And a fastball strike. George has hit 8 home runs this season and 156 at bats. Kataris struck out in the second, then he grounded out in the 4th. Two and 1. Rodriguez pitch count is at 98. Nearly twice as many strikes as balls. 3 balls and a strike. Pitcher spot is due up next. Ken Maka already has Craig Counsell in the on deck circle. That could be a big pitch. Kataris up there in a hitter's count. He throws him a curveball for a strike.
That's what I'm talking about when you pitch large. I mean, that's a heck of a pitch. Now, the Brewers only have left-handed bats on their bench other than Jonathan Lucroy. That's why Counsell's on deck, and that one just barely catching the outside corner. That's a good pitch.
Full count and a fastball, swing and a miss. Completely turned the at-bat with that 3-1 curve. And Rodriguez strikes out Kataris to end the frame and the threat. And we head to the 7th. Houston still leading 3-2. By Heiser Automotive Group. Heiser Automotive, where anything's possible. Visit Heiser.com. And by Feltco Windows, Siding and Doors. For quality windows, siding and doors, call 866-4FELTCO. And our Miller Lite What's on Tap. The Brewers and the Astros tomorrow. We're back on Fox Sports Wisconsin. 5:30 is airtime for Brewers Live. And then Sunday, the matinee at 12:30. The Diamondbacks come to town Monday, and that's a 6:30 airtime. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. And rock our Feltco call to the pen. Todd Coffey is in the game for Dave Bush, who goes 6 innings, gives up 3 runs, 2 earned, and is on the hook for the loss at this point.
Yeah, gave up a run against the Cubs on Wednesday in a game that the Brewers would lose. They won 2 out of 3 in Chicago, but Todd Coffey on here in the 7th inning. It's about the time of the game where you see Todd Coffey mid part of the ball game as Cameron Lowe has turned into the Brewers setup man.
So Coffey to face Hunter Pence to lead off. And he starts it with a slider for a strike. Coffey trying to erase some bad memories in his last outing against the Chicago Cubs. Gave up a 3-run home run in that game to Aramis Ramirez that opened it up for the Cubs in a 15-3 Chicago win.
As a rough 6th inning for the Brew Crew that particular day. Manny Parra entered the 6th with a 3-1 lead. Todd Coffey hung a slider to Aramis Ramirez, who put it in the seats at Wrigley Field.
That was a 15-3 win for the Cubs. They scored 14 of their 15 runs in the last 3 innings. And it all started with that 6-run 6th. 1-2 to Pence. Got him. Good pitch. Coffey with a slider and a swing and a miss.
It's a good contrast in styles that Ken Mott is trying to take advantage of. Off-speed pitches, big, slow breaking balls from Dave Bush, and the power pitcher Coffey in next. There's that slider on the outside part of the plate. Didn't do much, but put it in a pretty good spot.
So Carlos Lee with 1 away. An infield hit in the 30s, 1 for 3 tonight. And a strike. Coffey pounding the strike zone. A good fastball that time. It'll pop up foul territory. That's playable for McGee. 2 outs. Now the Brewers are competing with other major league clubs for a $200,000 Pepsi Refresh grant and would use those dollars to build Milwaukee's first Miracle League baseball field for children with disabilities. They can only make it happen with your vote. Go to MLB.com/Pepsi Refresh and vote for the Brewers project, or you can text Brewers to 76462. Just text the word Brewers to 76462. Message and data rates apply. Can't wait to see the Miracle League come to fruition. Jeff Blum with 2 outs. Singled in the 2nd. He reached on an error in the 5th, and he scored the 3rd run. That's the difference in the game right now, as he slaps one to the opposite field, a base hit.
Pretty good swing right there by Jeff Blum. Did you see that pitch? Up and away. He just, little flick of the wrist. Not just swing. That pitch not even close to being a strike. Way off the outside corner. Look at the way he gets on top of it, down and through. Kind of a half swing and dumps it into left field.
Now you hear hitter lingo all the time. They say, let it travel. That's a good indication of letting it travel.
Yeah.
It almost traveled into the mitt.
Almost took it right out of Qatar's glove.
It's a confident hitter right there. Katara's a visit with coffee. Maybe a quick little rundown on what's happened with Brett Wallace here tonight. Wallace struck out his first 2 times up and then doubled in a run in the 5th. Hit one deep into left center field. It hit the angled wall out in center. Tough luck night for Dave Bush. He was in a ton of trouble, but at the end of the day, he goes 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, only 2 earned, 3 walks, and he strikes out 5, and he's on the hook for the loss at this point.
It was one of those nights where Bush really didn't have his good stuff, but able to make his pitches when he most needed them.
Most pitches he's thrown all year. Ends up with 117 unofficially, but his best inning was his last inning, the 6th. Wallace walks on 4 straight, and all of a sudden the Astros putting something together here with 2 outs. Bullpen is quiet for Ken Maka. This is Coffey's inning.
Right in the bottom 3rd of the batting order. You figure with 2 outs and nobody on, you feel pretty good about getting through the 7th. A good piece of hitting by Blum and a walk by Wallace. All of a sudden now you got Johnson up, who's been one of the hottest hitters for the Astros.
Johnson had a single in the 2nd. He's 1 for 3. 2 on with 2 out. Brewers trying to keep the Astros at 3 runs. The way Rodriguez is pitching, you don't want to fall behind anymore. The Brewers will have a pinch hitter due up to lead off, probably Craig Counsell. And then Ricky Weeks and Corey Hart back to the top of the order. So the good part of the order is coming up for the Crew. That one's hit hard back up the middle, a base hit. And Blum is around 3rd. He'll score. Just like that, the Astros get an RBI single with 2 outs from Johnson. And it's 4-2, 3 consecutive base runners with 2 away.
No, got behind 1-0. He threw the slider, he missed with it, and Johnson sitting all over the fastball. And watch where it ends up. Right down the middle of the plate, almost hit him. A good piece of hitting again by Johnson. So 2 outs, nobody on. A couple of base hits and a walk, and the Astros have their 2-run lead back.
This is a lot of what we saw in Houston. Astros hitters in certain situations just shortening up, banging away, clipping away, I guess is the best way to put it, with singles, and putting together multi-hit, multi-run innings against the Brewers.
Well, it doesn't help that you're throwing pitches over the heart of the plate. I mean, whatever your approach is, if you're throwing fastballs down the middle when you're down in the count 1-0, you're going to get hit. Got to make better pitches.
Wallace out at 2nd. Johnson at 1st. Jason Castro is 1 for 3 tonight. A couple of strikeouts on his card. Escobar will go the easy way to 3rd. So the inning is over, but the Astros add to their lead. It's 4-2 as we go to the home 7th, stretch time at Miller Park. series. It was Escobar who gave the Brewers the early lead tonight, but the Astros came right back. Hunter Pence driving in 2 in the 3rd inning. And then the Stros have added to it. Brett Wallace with an RBI double. Fielder made it a 1-run game again with an RBI double, scoring Corey Hart. But the Astros tacking one on in the 7th as Chris Johnson delivers Jeff Blum with 2 outs. And that's where we sit, 4-2. Usinger's game summary as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Craig Counsell will lead off. Pinch hitting for Todd Coffey. Counsell as a pinch hitter this year is 9 for 30. That's an even .300 batting average. His overall batting average is .240. Rodriguez through 6 innings and just 2 runs, 1 earned. And that curveball has been the difference maker for him in this game. Throwing it whenever he wants.
This could very well be his last inning. His last 2 starts, he's gone 7 and 8 innings consecutively. 109 and 107 pitches, including that last start against Milwaukee. So right now he's at 105. An important inning for Rodriguez, and more important for the Brewers. Get something going here.
Rodriguez doing a little stretching between pitches. Haven't seen that in this game until this inning. Reaching up, taking a little time between pitches. Two and 2 on Counsell. And there's that curveball. Counsell lines one to Blum. Jeff Blum makes the catch.
Had him played perfectly. They had him shaded up the middle at short. And Blum able to catch the humpback liner. Might look like off the bat it might have been a base hit, but Blum right where he should have been.
So maybe Brad Mills spotting something we did. And that's going to do it. So with Ricky Weeks coming up, the 4th time through the order, Wandy Rodriguez is done for the day as he jogs off. And a chance to win his 10th of the year. Another well-pitched game by the Astros left-hander. We'll take a break. They didn't expect it to be so late. Rodriguez is out in the 7th inning. 6 1/3 for Rodriguez. And a high pitch count, but he's in line for the win. The new pitcher is Wilton Lopez for the Astros, a hard thrower.
Man, he's a hard thrower with a very good changeup. We've seen a lot of that changeup in Houston. Had a rough start to his season, but lately he's been pretty good. As you mentioned, has pretty good movement on the fastball, but his changeup is his best pitch.
Lopez to face Ricky Weeks. And he starts Weeks with a fastball strike. Ricky is 1 for 3 tonight. Had a double in the first inning. Rodriguez struck him out his last 2 times up. Well, that's a big run the Astros posted in the 7th, giving them a 2-run lead. Weeks into right. Pence on the run with room. And it's out number 2. 6 1/3, 8 hits. Only one of the runs was an earned run, and no walks for Wandy Rodriguez. And he was in a couple of 3-ball counts where he was able to come back with breaking balls to get the count back in his favor.
Including a 3-1 count on George Kataris. Threw a breaking ball, got the strike, and then threw the fastball by George. Been good pitching. It hasn't just been the offense for the Astros. The reason why they've been playing such good baseball, their pitching's been very good as well.
This is not the same team the Brewers saw in the first half by any stretch. The Astros have had a pretty significant stretch of games here where they've played very well. Oh, 2 to Hart.
Yeah, they've had 2 starters that have been lights out lately between Rodriguez and Myers before tonight. They combined for a 7-1 record and a 2.01 earned run average in their last 10 starts combined. You get some wins with pitching like that.
Boy, Hart down quickly. Lopez carves him up, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning between Rodriguez and Lopez. And we're headed to the 8th. Houston 4, Milwaukee 2. Getting late at Miller Park. '58 presents Whistling Straits, the PGA Championship Special. Tune in Wednesday night at 10:35 following the 10 at 10 news on CBS 58. New pitcher for the Brewers, Trevor Hoffman in for Todd Coffey. Coffey goes an inning, gives up 2 hits and a run. And Trevor will have the 8, trying to keep the Astros at 4 runs. It's 4-2 Houston. Hoffman will face a pinch hitter to start it. And it's going to be Jason Bourgeois, former Brewer. Now the Brewers in the bottom of the 8th will have Fielder, Braun, and McGee. And Hoffman trying to keep it at a 2-run deficit as Bourgeois digs in. Hoffman last worked on Monday in that lopsided 18-1 Milwaukee win over the Cubs at Wrigley.
He's been pretty good lately. His last 17 appearances has only given up 3 runs in 17 innings of work. Ken Maka has said that he'd like to see him get into some games and maybe close 1 or 2, but just can't seem to get Axford out of that position. He's been too good.
It's all a matter of timing and the workload for John Axford. But you asked Ken Maka about Trevor Hoffman, and it's a stated goal for Trevor to reach 600 career saves. And he is still 4 shy. He's at 596. Maka says, there's going to be opportunities. Just let it pan out. He keeps saying there's going to be opportunities. But you go through a stretch of games, and it hasn't happened just yet. Bourgeois in the air, center field. And Lorenzo Cain will make the catch for the first out. I think what he means by that, Rock, is, you get into a stretch. Sometimes it happens, too. You get into a stretch where you need a closer, and you're in save situations 3, 4, 5 nights in a row, maybe 6 nights in a row. And he won't put that kind of stress on Axford at this point. Meaning Hoffman would step into a role like that. Or maybe he uses Axford 2 innings for a save on one night, and he's not available the next night. His last save, Trevor Hoffman, was May 7th.
Man, just see how it plays out. I mean, you're never going to use a closer more than 4 days in a row. I mean, even 3 days is pushing it, depending on their workload, those particular games. But Brewers are going to have to play some good baseball to be stretching save opportunities together like that.
That's been the problem.
It may very well have to come down to a different scenario to get those 4 saves.
Trevor had 5 saves through the first month of the season. He blew 5 saves as well. Trevor admits he put himself in this position, but at the same time, at some point you see Hoffman closing some games as he tries to pursue 600. Ball and 2 strikes on Bourne. Just missed. The all-time saves leader, Trevor Hoffman. I remember talking to Trevor this spring about 600 saves. He started the year just 9 away from it. It just almost was a foregone conclusion with everyone else but Trevor. He never allowed those thoughts or that kind of talk. He'd always say, it's not easy to save a game in the big leagues.
Right.
Ever.
They never did, say that was a cinch. I mean, none of them are. I mean, even getting 1 save is not an easy thing to do.
Hoffman beats Bourne to the bag. 2 outs.
But that's the kind of a mentality you would expect from Trevor Hoffman. You don't get, as many saves as he has throughout his long career without having that mentality. Not taking anything for granted, not assuming anything. And able to cover first and get the out on Michael Bourne.
Well, Trevor keeps himself in great condition. His workout routines well documented. Matter of fact, what he's done here in Milwaukee in his 2 years will probably be everlasting, at least in the foreseeable future, with his bullpen boot camp, he calls it, prior to games, early in the day, about 2:30, 3 o'clock, before even the position players are out on the field. All the relievers out doing different kind of workouts. They vary it up, but they're staying strong to get through a long season, kind of under Trevor Hoffman's tutelage out there. He's always the ringleader. And even at 42 years of age, there's not one reliever down there that can outlast him in anything.
That's right. It's just a routine. He's been doing it forever.
Jeff Keppinger on base twice tonight with walks. He scored the second Astros run in the third. 4-2 Houston in the eighth. 2 outs. And that's in there. Strike 2. Phillies came back to beat the Mets. They scored 6 runs in the eighth. Philadelphia 7-5 winners over the New York Mets. It's starting to look like a 2-team race in the East. The Phillies and the Braves.
The Phillies have won 5 in a row. Without Ryan Howard. Without Chase Utley.
They've had a lot of injuries, huh?
Yeah. They're still playing some pretty good baseball right now.
Placido Polanco missed significant time. Jimmy Rollins missed significant time to begin the year.
Phillies are 2 behind Atlanta coming in.
There's a base hit to right. Keppinger singles to extend the inning.
That's what he does with 2 strikes. We've been talking about it all day. With 2 strikes, he's looking to serve it into right field. This guy doesn't get the credit that he deserves as being a very good situational hitter. Based on the count, what am I going to do with the baseball? So you're up there, you got 2 strikes, and watch how far that ball travels before he swings that bat. Right off that back leg and serves it into right field. That's a pretty good piece of hitting.
Now Hunter Pence. The mighty lash. Atlanta is hooked up in a good one tonight against the Giants. Barry Zito and Tommy Hanson all tied at 1. Bottom of the 6th. Alex Gonzalez has homered for the Braves. 20 home runs from the shortstop position this year. Most of that damage done in Toronto. Pence into left off the end of the bat. And Braun makes a catch. So a scoreless inning for Trevor Hoffman. The Brewers down 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th.
I guess the sense of validation and your work ethic and trying to stay out there on a consistent basis is something that I think that number will stand for.
Comments of Trevor Hoffman this spring about the potential 600 save. And Hoffman continues to pitch well. Another scoreless inning here tonight. Trevor, a scoreless 8, giving up a hit. And now we'll see if the Brewers can give him a chance at a win. 4-2 Houston. Prince Fielder ready to lead off. Brandon Lyon is on to pitch.
Yeah, pretty good back end of this bullpen for the Houston Astros. Brandon Lyon leads his club in appearances now with 51 and a 3.33 earned run average.
Fielder out to Blum. And one away on one pitch from the Astros reliever.
And that's what he does. I mean, he has good sink in his fastball, gets a lot of ground ball outs, and has done a very good job of keeping the baseball in the ballpark. Hasn't given up many home runs. One, not many.
That's not many at all.
No. Especially in that ballpark they play in.
Ryan Braun with one away. Brewers need a base runner, at least one. Just a big run for the Astros in the 7th to stretch the lead from 1-2. Changes the complexion a little bit.
They had 2 outs and nobody on, and Astros able to mount the rally, get a 2-out base hit.
Into center, and that's playable for Michael Bourne. 2 outs, 2 up, 2 down for Brandon Lyon. So the ground ball specialist gets a fly ball out from Braun, and now Casey McGee with 2 gone. Ken Maka wondering where the offense will come from tonight, if at all. Brandon Lyon from Utah. I think the most accomplished big league player from Utah is Bruce Hurst. That's about as much as I can come up with.
Lefty for the Red Sox. Now, how did you know he's from Utah, just off the top of your head?
Brandon Lyon or Bruce Hurst?
Bruce Hurst.
Well, you know, you just remember those things.
Do you?
It's like you remember that Darren Erstad is from North Dakota.
Right, okay.
But there aren't many big leaguers from Utah. Like, it's long-time major leaguers, established major leaguers. The list is pretty short.
So you're putting Bruce Hurst ahead of Brandon Lyon?
I don't know. Let me check on that. Let's go to the numbers on that one.
How about Vermont? Do you have anybody from Vermont?
I don't have anybody from Vermont. Where do we go at longevity here? Most recognizable name, don't you think?
Numbers.
Bruce Hurst?
Numbers.
He's one of your contemporaries,
right? He was tough. Good curveball. Another guy not afraid to come inside.
So you're one of the few that can actually connect the dots here.
I had no idea where he was from.
Most famous Utah pitchers. Brandon Lyon's from Taylorsville, Utah, according to the media guide. Casey trying to get on base, give Lorenzo Cain a shot as the tying run. Thought he had a walk a moment ago. He's hanging tough. just off the plate. Casey McGee draws the walk. You could even tell McGee a couple of steps out of the box, just making sure there wasn't a ring up behind him.
That was a lot like that one that he thought was a ball earlier that was called a strike. Boy, that's a tough pitch to take.
Close. Leaving it in the hands of the umpire. But McGee draws the walk, and that's the base runner the Brewers needed. So now, instead of Lorenzo Cain, Ken Maka is going to take a shot at a long ball here to tie it. Jim Edmonds will bat.
Well, two guys left on the bench right now. You got Joe Inglet, hasn't had an at-bat, and Jonathan Lucroy. Well, the man at first, batter representing the tying run, as hot as Edmonds has been. Why not? Give him a shot.
Brad Arnsberg, the pitching coach, with a quick visit. Now the Brewers lead the National League in home runs. They're going to take a chance at it right here. 35 of those 134 home runs have come in the last 33 games. And Jim Edmonds, as a pinch hitter this year, has 1 home run. He has 8 total for the season. He made 4 consecutive starts with Carlos Gomez on the shelf after being hit in the head on Monday. And now Edmonds, a chance to tie it.
This is a pretty good matchup. You got a guy at the plate that has been red hot hitting home runs, and you got a pitcher on the mound that very rarely, if ever, gives up a home run. He's only given up 1 this year. If you're Jim Edmonds, you look for a pitch up in the zone until you have 2 strikes.
Edmonds is 5 for 16 as a pinch hitter, a .313 batting average off the bench, and that 1 home run.
And the majority of his power comes to the opposite field, out to left center. Lyon working him away, and that could very well play right into the hands of Jim Edmonds.
Two balls and a strike. The row of starting pitchers. Edmonds hits one high in the air. Just got under it too much. And Bourne will make the catch. The inning is over, and we are headed to the 9th. Still 4-2 Houston.
game will receive a free ticket to the August 25th game for each donated bag of gently used clothing. Be on the lookout for Goodwill trucks parked on the Miller Park Plaza.
Cameron Lowe is on the pitch for the Brewers. Jim Edmonds stays in the game defensively. And it's 4-2 Houston. Lowe will pitch this ninth inning. He'll have Carlos Lee, Jeff Blum, and Brett Wallace. You see the numbers for Cameron Lowe this year.
That pitched well on Tuesday, and the Brewers 4-3 win over the Cubs at Wrigley Field. An inning in the third, gave up a couple of hits and a couple of strikeouts. Did not allow a run.
There's Edmonds, who flew out to center field to end the eighth inning. A broken bat, that's going to fall for a base hit. Carlos Lee, and he's chugging for two. And Lee holds up. Carlos Lee busting it out of the box here tonight. That's twice we've seen him get to the fifth gear.
Amazing. Carlos thinking about a double. Yeah, looking in the dugout. Yeah, I got eaten up inside, broke my bat. I'll take the hit.
Feeling spry tonight is Carlos Lee.
Amazing what a day off can do, right?
That's right.
Carlos, one of those guys that plays every day. Look at him go.
He's surprisingly fast for a big man.
Thinking about a double, but said, you know what, I've run hard long enough. I'm stopping.
That's enough. I thought maybe when he rounded first, he wasn't going to stop just because he put in the effort up to that point. That's a decision to be made right there in a flash, you know. I've run this hard. Do I stop?
Prince Fielder's ignoring him. He doesn't like it.
Yeah. It's hard to ignore Carlos Lee.
Carlos Lee was very influential in the early days of Prince Fielder here in Milwaukee. Carlos, one of those guys that gets out there, plays every day. One of the few that have played all 162 games in the big leagues. And Prince Fielder continues his long streak, approaching 300.
Now Fielder has the most consecutive games played right now among active players in the league. This is number 295. 295 straight games he's played in. He's shattering the record with every game. It was held by Robin Yount at 274. Cubs broke that earlier this year. That's by Fielder, a base hit. Carlos Lee on his horse again, on his way to third, and he'll make it without a throw. So Jeff Blum has his third hit in his first start after elbow surgery. And Cameron Lowe is in trouble here in the ninth inning with 2 on and nobody out.
They're getting that sinker up in the zone, up out over the plate, and Jeff Blum just out of the reach of Prince Fielder, who wasn't even holding Carlos Lee on, not figuring that Lee was going to steal, but look at Carlos go.
That's good to see.
That good effort by Carlos.
I mean, I hate to sound surprised, but we haven't seen Carlos run like that much.
I tell you that those young kids have a good influence on even the veterans.
I think you may be right.
Guys busting it out of the box, 100% hustle. Get out there, play hard.
Brett Wallace with 2 on, nobody out. Chance for 2 here. Weeks to Escobar. Look at this turn. In time for the double play. The Astros score another run. And it's 5-2 Houston, but the Brewers do get the 2 outs. Well turned by Escobar on the throw from Weeks.
Well, really didn't think they had a chance, but look at Escobar able to make the throw and jump out of the way of Jeff Blum all at the same time. Kid's got a good arm. He really does. It all starts with the feed from Ricky Weeks. So that throw is a little bit off the marker, a little bit low. No chance of turning a double play, but that's another big run that crosses home plate for Houston.
And now a 3-run lead for the Astros.
Good feed by Ricky Weeks, a 2-hopper. Wallace doesn't run all that well. Ricky put something on that throw. That's what allowed them to turn the double play. He just goosed it over there. No chance. I think Blum takes Escobar out at second base. They do that about 50 times a day in batting practice. They practice turning the double play.
Just got a piece, did Johnson.
You know, I got a text message from a buddy of mine about famous players from Vermont.
Yeah. And?
Carlton Fisk.
Oh, okay.
That was Rick Ramirez.
Who's that?
Rick Ramirez. Rick, who's Carlton Fisk? Bertie Tebbetts and Carlton Fisk.
All right, Bertie Tebbetts from the old school. McGee makes a play on Johnson. The Brewers are down 3. Bottom of the 9th. Bottom of the order coming up. Five to 2, Astros lead the Brewers. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. A couple of changes for Houston here in the 9th as they lead by 3. Jason Michaels in for defensive purposes in left. Carlos Lee is out. And it's Matt Lindstrom who is in to pitch, the Astros closer. He is 22 for 26 this year in save opportunities, and he'll have the bottom of the order to start it out.
Having a terrific year at 241 earned run average in his 41st game here tonight. A hard thrower in the upper 90s.
Coming over from the Florida Marlins, Lindstrom his first chance to be a regular closer in the big leagues. He's finding more save opportunities here lately. Brewers need 3 to tie. Astros have a couple of big tack-on runs, one in the 7th, one in the 9th. As Escobar takes one low. One of Lindstrom's blown saves occurred here in Milwaukee back in May. One of the 4 he's posted this year. Back on May 27th. And it was a walk-off walk from Ricky Weeks. But prior to that walk, as Escobar, a big swing and a miss. Brewers had 2 hits and a walk to load the bases in that game, and then he walked Ricky Weeks to end it. Two and 2 to Escobar. Backhanded by Keppinger. 1 away here in the 9th. So Lindstrom's blown 4 this year, and that was the one that gave the Brewers a win back in May. It's going to take more than 1 here tonight to get it done against Lindstrom the second time around. That was soon after the Kendry Morales, the ankle injury he suffered or fractured leg when he had the walk-off home run. So the Brewers just kind of like in a rugby pile at first base after the game-winning walk.
It's not like it was a game-winning home run. I mean,
it's all relative.
Yeah, I mean, there's levels of celebration.
A May bases-loaded game-winning walk. Had a game-winning home run tonight. Former Brewer minor leaguer Matt Laporta with a home run tonight to beat the Twins in Cleveland. 9th inning home run. That was a 7-6 final in that game. Indians called up Michael Brantley today as well. He was in uniform today. He was the other position player involved in that CC Sabathia trade back in 08.
Brantley's been up and down quite a bit. Good player. Just hasn't been able to find that regular playing time at the major league level.
Ball and 2 strikes on Kataris. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Brewers need base runners here. Lindstrom throwing hard. 95-mile-an-hour fastball misses. Randy Wolf against Brett Myers tomorrow. Myers just signed a contract extension with the Astros. Full count to George.
Look at a changeup from Lindstrom with a 3-run lead. 85 miles an hour.
Now, when you hear scouts talk about a max effort pitcher, it would be Matt Lindstrom. He puts everything into every pitch.
Yep, all arms and legs, and you got to force yourself not to follow all that stuff as it's coming at you. Herky-jerky delivery, and boy, he gets it up there.
Full count, 1 away. And Kataris takes ball 4. So Lindstrom walks George Kataris. That was his undoing in late May here at Miller Park. And now Joe England will come on to pinch hit.
Joe's job is to do whatever he can to reach base. Bring that tying run to home plate.
England as a pinch hitter hitting .311. He leads the National League. Matter of fact, leads the major leagues in pinch hits this year. He has 14. His best fastball, 96 miles an hour, Lindstrom. Brewers need one more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. They've got the big power coming up next. The top of the order waits in the wings with Weeks and Hart. Ball and 2 strikes. Now England in a hole.
A lot easier to get to that big fastball when it's down around the knees than it is up around the letters. Problem is you don't have a whole lot of time with that kind of velocity to make up your mind.
Good cut. Inglett's a good fastball hitter. He's got an unusual setup at the plate. A little bit of a Joe Morgan look up there. He swats that back elbow.
Very quick inside, though. A lot of his base hits come right down that right field line. It's going to come to a test whether he can pull that fastball from Lindstrom.
Runner goes, Kataris, and that pitch down and in. So the Astros not really paying attention to Kataris. The run doesn't mean much, but getting to second takes the Astros out of a double play opportunity. And defensive indifference is a call. No stolen base for Kataris. I think anytime a catcher goes to second base, you should give him a steal, no matter what.
Well, particularly in a situation where a double play could end the ball game, and I think that it's not as easy as just not holding the guy on. I mean, that's a big play right there. Now you're guaranteed England's hit back and Ricky Weeks hit back. I don't know why the defense would be indifferent on that.
2 balls, 2 strikes. England trying to reach base to get the tying run up. And he lays off. Full count. Weeks waits, sitting on 22 home runs this year. Astros have been red hot. They've won 7 of their last 8. The 3-2 pitch, and England hits that one high and deep. Right field, fair foul. That baseball is a fair ball and a home run for Joe England. His first of the year. With a mighty swat, Joe England brings the crew within a run.
Well, how about that extra run that the Astros were able to score in the 9th inning? Man. Joe England answered the question whether he can pull the Matt Lindstrom fastball, and he not only pulls it, but he pulls it and hits it off the right field foul pole. If you can pull that fastball in that location, you can pull anybody's fastball. How about this? Watch this. Boink.
His first home run since September of 2008. It's been nearly 2 years for Joe England in the big leagues, and a big one here. Now Weeks is up. The tying run at the plate. As England bangs one off the foul pole.
All 3 RBIs tonight have come from the bottom third of the batting order.
What an at-bat by England. Weeks could tie it. Oh, and 2 on Ricky Weeks. Now Now Ricky trying to get aboard for Corey Hart. Again, Lindstrom. 2 strikes on a hitter. Ricky, a base hit to left.
Now they're not going away. A hanging slider, and Ricky Weeks able to hit it hard in the left. A 2-strike hanging breaking ball. Well, I'll tell you, throwing 96 miles an hour, and you hang that with 2 strikes. Thank you very much, says Ricky Weeks. Well, now a home run ends it, and the Brewers win. There it is, right down the middle of the plate, and Ricky hammers it to left field. He gets under that a little bit. Tie game.
Hit it like a bullet to left. Tying run at first. Great speed in Weeks. Still just 1 out. Now the big thumpers are up for the Brewers. Hart. And if it's extended, Prince Fielder will have a shot. Well, Corey took a big swing.
Well, now all of a sudden they're holding the runner at first. Corey had a pitch to hit, got out in front of it just a little bit. We'd love to see Ricky get into second base somehow.
Well, Lindstrom pretty slow to the plate with that big, elaborate motion from the mound, even in the stretch. And Hart takes one a little bit outside.
Yeah, you get a decent, any kind of a jump, and you're going to be able to make it, because that high leg kick, Lindstrom takes forever to get rid of the baseball.
Of the 3 walk-off home runs this year, Corey Hart has 2 of them. Casey McGee the other for the Brewers. Astros outfield is very deep. 1 and 2. Lindstrom again has a Brewer hitter at 2 strikes. Joe England homered a 2-run shot, a pinch hit home run with 2 strikes. Ricky Weeks base hit came on an 0-2 pitch. Two and 2.
All of a sudden not throwing as hard. Maybe tighten up a little bit. That fastball at 93. He was throwing 96 early in this inning.
27 pitches for Lindstrom. He got the first man out. Has given up a walk, a home run, and a single since. The tying run at first, the winning run at the plate. Down in the dirt, full count. And now we'll see if Weeks is on the move here. Corey Hart is very fast. He's a tough man to double up. But with Weeks on the run at 3 and 2, he'll have a chance to score down the line or in the gap. He stays put, and Hart takes ball 4. Lindstrom has walked Corey Hart, his second walk of this inning. And now Prince Fielder will hit with a tying run at second base.
Well, with each base runner and each pitch that ends up out of the strike zone, Lindstrom doesn't appear to have the velocity that he had early in the inning, throwing free and easy. 95, 96. All of a sudden it's 92 to 94. That makes a big difference up there at the plate. Still only 1 out.
Brad Arnsberg, Astros pitching coach. If nothing else, just giving Lindstrom a little breather here. He's already at 29 pitches. The tying run is Weeks. The winning run is Corey Hart. Prince Fielder. He drove in a run with a double in the 5th. Fielder had a game-winning home run against the Giants last September. The Brewers have great speed on the bases right here.
After Prince Fielder, you're not thinking home run. That happens automatically. You just try and get a ball down in the strike zone, out over the plate, and put a good swing on it. You can't overswing with a guy throwing as hard as Lindstrom.
Fielder down the line. That's a foul ball and hits the sidewall. Weeks will score. Here comes Hart. The throw from Pence. And Hart is saved by home. The Brewers win. Fielder drives in 2. A game winner in Milwaukee. A 4-run ninth, and the Brewers beat the Astros 6-5. What a finish.
Wow, what a gutsy call by Brad Fisher. He never even slowed Corey Hart down. He able to score barely at home plate. But how about Prince Fielder? He got a pitch that he liked. It was a fastball, ripped it right down that first baseline. Initially, I thought it was a bad break that the ball hit the stand, the wall by the stands out there. If that goes into the corner, there's no doubt that Corey Hart's going to be able to score. It hits that wall that juts out, and I thought that was going to cost the Brewers the win at that point. But watch Brad Fisher all the way down, and Corey Hart never slowed down, never hesitated, and that's all it took. And the Brewers pick up a big, big win, coming down from 3 runs against the Houston closer. Lindstrom got the first out of the inning, the first batter, and never recorded another out. What a game here at Miller Park.
And elation for the big fella. Cameron Lowe the winner. Lindstrom takes the loss. Milwaukee beats the Astros 6-5. And you know that has to feel good for Prince Fielder, who drives in 3 runs tonight. And the Brewers with 4 in the 9th to hand Lindstrom his second blown save against this year. Great ball game. What a finish tonight. Well, the Brewers take game 1 of this 3-game series, and a little payback for the Astros, who swept Milwaukee and Houston. That does it for us tonight. The final score 6-5 Milwaukee. Brewers baseball returns to Fox Sports Wisconsin tomorrow starting at 5:30 with the Brewers Live pregame show. The Brewers return to WMLW August 21st as they take on the San Diego Padres at 6 p.m. Coming up next on WMLW, it's America's Funniest Home Videos. For Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. The Brewers a winner tonight.